Chapter 2332. Longao was very clear about the Primal Chaos Palace's situation. In the end, he still hadn't truly grasped the Primal Chaos Palace. It was easy to say, but in reality, it was extremely difficult. Even now, Longao didn't have any confidence in the Primal Chaos Palace. The more this was the case, the more serious Longao became. If he couldn't deal with the Empire's matters, he didn't have the time to obtain the remaining 7 Primal Chaos Tablets. In Longao's heart, his family was the #1 priority. The Primal Chaos Tablets were secondary. If it was anyone else, the tablet would definitely be #1. Even his family would be behind. Xiling and Long Qiong chose to go into seclusion. The two were very clear about the current situation. The earlier they refined the Primal Chaos Tablets and became the ruler of space, the more advantageous it would be for Longao. Yu Yin, Aoshue, Longao, and Longao's parents all chose to go into seclusion and devour their own Primal Chaos Tablets. They did it secretly. This matter definitely couldn't be leaked. Otherwise, things would really be troublesome. Within the Primal Chaos Palace, Longao felt the flow of time within the Primal Chaos Palace. He was completely shocked. He didn't believe his senses. Was this real? If he didn't personally experience it, he definitely wouldn't believe it. Just as Longao was quietly thinking about what to do, the situation in the Primal Chaos Palace suddenly changed. The flow of time within the Primal Chaos Palace suddenly sped up. It was tens of thousands of times faster than outside. What kind of concept was this? It could be said like this. Longao cultivating in the Primal Chaos Palace for a year was equivalent to cultivating outside for 10,000 years. His speed was 10,000 times faster. What kind of crazy speed was this? Longao was pleasantly surprised. Because with the acceleration of time within the Primal Chaos Palace, his cultivation base could rapidly increase. With his talent, he believed that in a few years, he would be able to continuously break through. The Legend of Space and even the Immortal of Space were very easy to reach. The Primal Chaos Palace was a bit too terrifying. However, under these circumstances, Longao didn't choose to stay in the Primal Chaos Palace to cultivate. Under these circumstances, there were 2 things he wanted to do. The first was to think about how to help the Empire avoid this disaster. The second matter was how to enter the Chaos Plane and obtain the remaining 7 Chaos Steelies. Longao was very clear about one thing. If the 12 Chaos Stone Tablets were really related to him, then there was no doubt that it wouldn't be difficult for him to obtain the remaining Chaos Stone Tablets. His original plan was to deal with the matter of the Empire first. However, Longao changed his mind at the last moment. For the sake of long-term development, he needed to get the remaining 7 Chaos Tablets as soon as possible. From there, he could create even more space dominators. 12 rulers of galaxy, plus Xiling, Long Qiong, and himself, that would be a total of 15 rulers of galaxy. When the time comes, no one was his match, not even Master God Diviner. This was because Longao's intuition told him that the attributeless Chaos Stone Tablet he had obtained was very likely to be a high-grade Chaos Stone Tablet. If that was the case, then he wouldn't have to fear the Oracle at all. Chaos Plane. Ever since their powers had disappeared, the other rulers of galaxy had all chosen to disappear. They had all gone into seclusion to refine their own Chaos Stone Tablets, hoping to become rulers of galaxy as soon as possible. Only Yi Dugu and Master God Diviner remained, stubbornly guarding the Chaos Plane. The 2 of them had been waiting this entire time. If someone obtained a Chaos Stone Tablet and left, they would be able to intercept and kill them. However, the 2 of them were somewhat depressed. This was because they simply couldn't be sure that the person who obtained the Chaos Stone Tablet wouldn't leave. What if they didn't? What if someone devoured the Chaos Stone Tablet and began to refine it within the Chaos Plane? If that really happened, then even if they were able to lock onto the person who obtained the Chaos Stone Tablet, what would be the point? Longao watched from afar. Perhaps others wouldn't be able to discover them, but that didn't mean that Longao couldn't. By now, Longao had already begun to slowly refine the attributeless Chaos Stone Tablet. Thus, he could clearly sense Master God Diviner and Yi Dugu's location. This was a laughable thing. Master God Diviner was a ruler of galaxy who had obtained a high-grade Chaos Stone tablet. And yet, he was unable to lock onto Longao's aura. In fact, he couldn't even sense where Longao was. If Master God Diviner found out about this, who knew how grateful he would be? Still, Longao was almost certain that if Master God Diviner found out about this, he wouldn't hold back and would instead deal with him. He had already obtained 2 Chaos Stone tablets. If he continued to openly enter the Chaos Plane this time, Master God Diviner and Yi Dugu would no longer trust him. There was no need to risk it. He had already obtained 5 Chaos Stone tablets. Taking a step back, even if he couldn't obtain even one of the remaining 7 Chaos Stone tablets, it would still be worth it. Right at this moment, Master God Diviner rose and left, leaving behind Yi Dugu to stand guard. The reason was simple. Master God Diviner had already established a connection with Yi Dugu. As long as there were any clues, Master God Diviner could descend at any time. After all, Master God Diviner still had many things to do. Just as Longao was worrying about how to sneak into the Chaos Plane, he discovered that Master God Diviner had already left. He was delighted. He feared Master God Diviner, but he wasn't as simple as Yi Dugu. Although Yi Dugu had devoured a Chaos Stone tablet, he hadn't truly refined it to become a ruler of galaxy. In other words, Yi Dugu hadn't even broken through to become a legend of galaxy. At most, he was on the same level as Longao. A few dozen minutes later, Longao had already evaded Yi Dugu's detection and smoothly entered the Chaos Plane. He didn't immediately begin to sense the 7 Chaos Stone tablets. Longao quietly stood atop a mountain peak, gazing into the endless void. A stone tablet floated in front of him. It was the attributeless Chaos Stone tablet from the Primal Chaos Hall. Longao wanted to give it a try. He wanted to see if he could use the attributeless Chaos Stone tablet to sense the remaining 7 Chaos Stone tablets. Longao didn't have the slightest bit of confidence in his ability to do so. However, he had relied on the attributeless Chaos Stone tablet to sense the location of the Life Chaos Stone tablet. Only then had he been able to smoothly obtain the Life Chaos Stone tablet. Otherwise, no matter how powerful he was, he wouldn't have been able to smoothly obtain the Life Chaos Stone tablet. After sensing for 2 hours, Longao was overjoyed. He had originally wanted to give it a try, but he never would have imagined that by relying on the attributeless Chaos Stone tablet, he would actually be able to sense the auras of the Chaos Stone tablets. Moreover, he could sense the auras of all 7 Chaos Stone tablets at once. The 7 Chaos Stone tablets were scattered everywhere. East, west, north, and south. Longao was overjoyed. Without any hesitation, he immediately flew out. Chapter 2333. 1 month later. Longao had successfully acquired the remaining 7 primal chaos steelies. Even now, he found it hard to believe. He had never imagined that he would be able to acquire all of the primal chaos steelies. 12 primal chaos steelies. That was the equivalent of creating 12 dominators of the universe. What did this mean? Longao knew very well that if he really could create 12 dominators of the universe, then he would be in a lot of trouble. The 12 primal chaos steelies all left. The primal chaos plane began to tremble violently. No one knew what was going on. But no one dared to stay. Although the primal chaos steelies were very tempting, compared to their lives, they were insignificant. Just as 60% of the people left, the entire primal chaos plane collapsed. The remaining 40% of the cultivators were left behind in the primal chaos plane forever. All of them perished. Father, what happened? Yi Dugu was completely stunned as he looked at the collapsed primal chaos plane. Yi Dugu couldn't understand why the primal chaos plane would suddenly collapse for no reason. What was going on? Master God Diviner was also very curious. He didn't know why the primal chaos plane had suddenly collapsed. He thought for a moment. Master God Diviner said helplessly, based on my guess, aside from Longao's primal chaos steely, the other 11 primal chaos steelies have all left the primal chaos plane. That's why the primal chaos plane collapsed. So that's how it was. Yi Dugu's face was very gloomy. His voice was very cold. Father, We didn't sense the 11 primal chaos steelies at all. We don't know who took them out. It can't be Longao. He didn't quite believe it. Even if Longao had obtained the primal chaos steelies, it was virtually impossible for him to have taken them out without anyone noticing. Aside from Longao, Yi-Dugu really couldn't think of anyone else who could have taken away the primal chaos steelies without anyone noticing, causing the primal chaos plane to collapse. Master God Diviner didn't dare to be certain that this was Longao's doing. But his intuition told him that it couldn't have been Longao. Still, he had to be careful. What if it was Longao? That was indeed the case. Master God Diviner thought for a moment, then said, "Come with me, Dugu." Yi-Dugu naturally knew where his father was taking him. There was no point in continuing to stand guard in the chaos plane. The most important thing now was to think of a way to find the other 11 chaos stone tablets. Soaring Dragon Empire. Longao successfully brought the 7 primal chaos stone tablets back to the Soaring Dragon Empire, but he did not pass them down immediately. Not only that, Longao found the 5 people who had obtained the primal chaos stone tablets. Without saying a word, he sent all 5 of them into the primal chaos hall. Only now did he truly heave a sigh of relief. Longao had never imagined that the chaos plane would suddenly collapse as soon as he left with the remaining 7 chaos steelies. That was indeed the case. Longao was almost certain that with the sudden collapse of the primal chaos plane, Master God Diviner's first suspicion would be him. If he didn't let the 5 of them into the primal chaos hall, once Master God Diviner sensed them, he would be in great trouble. Longao had complete confidence in the primal chaos hall. As long as his grandfather and the other 4 stepped into the primal chaos hall, not to mention ordinary people, even Master God Diviner might not be able to sense their auras. As long as they could temporarily avoid Master God Diviner's detection, this matter would truly be over. Within the primal chaos hall. Aoa, what happened? Seeing the serious expression on Longao's face, the 5 of them were very curious. They didn't know what had happened, but since the 5 of them had all obtained the primal chaos stone tablets, there was no doubt that this matter had something to do with the primal chaos stone tablets. Just as expected, Longao didn't hide anything. He roughly told them about the primal chaos stone tablets and the primal chaos plane. Aoa, are you confident that you can avoid Master God Diviner? Longao and the others naturally knew what this meant. If they didn't resolve this matter properly, things would become very troublesome. Master God Diviner was considered the most powerful existence in the vast universe. Even if the other rulers of the universe refined the primal chaos stone tablets, they still wouldn't be able to contend against Master God Diviner. Longao smiled confidently. Grandfather, don't worry. Even Master God Diviner won't be able to sense my primal chaos hall. If Master God Diviner can't sense the aura of the primal chaos stone tablets, he won't suspect anything in the future. Longao didn't doubt Aoa's confidence in the slightest. Within the primal chaos hall. Apart from the primal chaos stone tablets that the 5 of them had devoured, Longao had only taken away the primal chaos stone tablet of fire and ice. The other 6 primal chaos stone tablets were all left behind. If all the primal chaos stone tablets were left in the primal chaos hall, it would be too fake. Longao knew very well that he had already obtained a primal chaos stone tablet. If he continued to leave on his own, would Master God Diviner choose to believe him? 2 hours later, Master God Diviner and Yi-Dugu had arrived. Longao wasn't surprised to see the 2 of them suddenly arrive. He had already guessed that the primal chaos hall would collapse, and that the 2 of them would definitely come. The 2 of you, may I know why you've come this time? Longao asked even though he already knew the answer. Yi-Dugu smiled and said, Brother Long, we just discovered that the primal chaos plane has completely collapsed. According to my father's guess, the reason for the primal chaos plane's collapse is that all the primal chaos stone tablets have left the primal chaos plane. So, we've come this time mainly to ask you if you've seen any other primal chaos stone tablets aside from the one you obtained. Coldly laughing in his heart, Longao didn't reveal anything strange on the surface. He indifferently said, Senior Master God Diviner, Brother Yi, I understand what you're trying to say. Although I can take a 90% chance of dying and forcibly take away the primal chaos stone tablets, I can guarantee that from start to finish, I only obtained 2. One of the primal chaos stone tablets has already left on its own. The other primal chaos stone tablet is within my body. As if afraid that the 2 of them wouldn't believe him, and also to prevent them from sensing him, a primal chaos stone tablet floated out of Longao's body. It was one of the 12 primal chaos stone tablets, the Icefire primal chaos stone tablet. Yi Dugu and Master God Diviner nodded. In truth, the 2 of them had already guessed that it was impossible for Longao to obtain all 12 primal chaos stone tablets at the same time. But in order to not worry, the 2 of them had still chosen to come. Now, it seemed that Longao wouldn't be able to do so. If that was the case, then the 2 of them became even more serious. They didn't know where the other primal chaos stone tablets had gone. Chapter 2334. Longao, you don't mind us sensing the soaring dragon realm, right? Saying that he didn't mind was a lie. Longao couldn't do anything about it. With his current situation, he couldn't go against Master Godly Mathematician and the others. Shrugging helplessly, Longao smiled and said, even if I mind, I can't do anything about it. Master Godly Mathematician and Yi Gudu smiled. Master Godly Mathematician didn't care at all. He released his terrifying aura and began to cover the entire soaring dragon realm. For a star ruler, he could casually cover the entire soaring dragon realm. Master Godly Mathematician was very confident in his aura. If there really was a chaos stone tablet in the soaring dragon realm, it wouldn't be able to escape his aura. A full 3 minutes. Master Godly Mathematician retracted his aura and shook his head. He stood up and left with Yi Gudu without a word. In the blink of an eye, they had disappeared without a trace. Seeing the 2 leave, Longao sneered. Even so, Longao didn't immediately let his grandfather and the others leave the Chaos Palace. Longao didn't hesitate and immediately gave the light Chaos Stone Tablet to Bai Ling. Longao, thank you very much. Xiling, you're too polite. Bai Ling is my lover. I will definitely leave the best for her. Bai Ling also knew that Longao had 12 Chaos Stone Tablets. So, without hesitation, she immediately devoured the light Chaos Stone Tablet. 12 Chaos Stone Tablets, Ice and Fire Chaos Stone Tablet, Lightning Chaos Stone Tablet, Darkness Chaos Stone Tablet, Sky Demon Chaos Stone Tablet, Black Dragon Chaos Stone Tablet, Life Chaos Stone Tablet, Power Chaos Stone Tablet, Wind and Cloud Chaos Stone Tablet, Spirit Chaos Stone Tablet, Light Chaos Stone Tablet, Mad Blade Chaos Stone Tablet, Divine Spear Chaos Stone Tablet. Bai Ling devoured the Light Chaos Stone Tablet, Yu Yin devoured the Ice and Fire Chaos Stone Tablet, Aoshua devoured the Life Chaos Stone Tablet, Long Haosha and Long Ao's parents devoured the Spirit Chaos Stone Tablet, Black Dragon Chaos Stone Tablet, and Divine Spear Chaos Stone Tablet respectively. They devoured 6 Chaos Stone Tablets. In other words, Long Ao still had 6 Chaos Stone Tablets in his hands. They were the Lightning Chaos Stone Tablet, Darkness Chaos Stone Tablet, Sky Demon Chaos Stone Tablet, Strength Chaos Stone Tablet, Wind Cloud Chaos Stone Tablet, and Mad Blade Chaos Stone Tablet. Long Ao still hadn't thought of who to give the remaining 6 Chaos Stone Tablets to. This problem could be said to be both simple and difficult. 1 month later, Long Ao made sure that Master God Diviner wouldn't suspect him again before allowing his grandfather and the others to leave the Primal Chaos Palace. However, at this moment, Grandpa, are you looking for me? Long Ao was very curious, because under normal circumstances, his grandfather would not come to find him, because his grandfather also knew that he was very busy. Long Haosha's expression was very solemn. He thought for a moment. Grandpa, if you have something to say, just say it. Long Ao was almost certain that if it wasn't something important, his grandfather wouldn't hesitate to speak. What exactly was going on? Ao, I heard you say that you obtained a total of 12 Chaos Steelies on this trip to the Primordial Plains. That's right. Towards his grandfather, Long Ao didn't hide anything at all. He replied truthfully. Why did his grandfather suddenly bring up the 12 Chaos Stone Tablets? Could it be that his grandfather wanted to devour the Chaos Stone Tablets? That shouldn't be possible. After all, the first person Longao gave it to was his grandfather. His grandfather had already devoured the Chaos Stone Tablet. How could he possibly want to devour the other Chaos Stone Tablets? Let me calculate. You've already taken out 6 Chaos Stone Tablets. There are still 6 left. I just want to ask, how do you plan to deal with the remaining Chaos Stone Tablets? He grew increasingly curious. Longao really couldn't understand what his grandfather meant. Why would he suddenly ask about the Chaos Stone Tablets? Grandpa, I haven't thought of how to deal with the remaining 6 Chaos Stone Tablets yet. Grandpa, why do you ask? I know that I shouldn't ask about the Chaos Stone Tablets, but this matter is of great importance. I have to ask clearly. If possible, I hope that you can give the remaining 6 Chaos Stone Tablets to our clansmen. What do you think? So that was the case. Longao shook his head. Grandpa, I know what you mean. But I have to tell you that the Chaos Stone Tablets can't be given to whomever I want. I have to find the most suitable person. Only then can I refine the Chaos Stone Tablets to the greatest extent possible and become a ruler of the starry skies. Longao seemed to want to say something, but in the end, he didn't say anything. This was because he knew his grandson's temperament. If he could agree, he wouldn't hesitate at all. He wouldn't refuse in front of everyone. But Longao was still a bit unwilling. If it were anything else, it wouldn't matter. But the Chaos Stone Tablets were the only things he really couldn't bear to part with. If his clansmen could devour the remaining Chaos Stone Tablets, then his clan would become increasingly powerful. In the future, his clan would be invincible. But if someone else devoured the Chaos Stone Tablets and became a ruler of the starry skies, who knew if they would choose to betray the Empire in the future? If they really did betray the Empire, then wouldn't they suffer a double loss? As for his grandfather's worries, how could Longao not know? But he really didn't want the Chaos Stone Tablets to be like this. Because the Chaos Stone Tablets were extremely important. His grandfather, his parents, Aoshue, Yu Yin, and Bai Ling really didn't have a choice. As for the others, it was a completely different concept. Longao didn't say much, because in this sort of situation, he didn't know what to say. He immediately went to find Murongyang. Longao had already made up his mind to give Murongyang a primal Chaos Stone Tablet. Among the remaining 6 primal Chaos Stone Tablets, he eventually chose the Heavenly Demon Primal Chaos Stone Tablet. At the end of the day, Longao still felt guilty towards Murongyang. Brother Long, is this for me? The current Murongyang was no longer the same as before. Not only did her cultivation break through to the 8th level of the starry skies, but she also understood what a Chaos Stone Tablet was and what it meant. From the beginning to the end, Murongyang never thought that she would one day obtain a Chaos Stone Tablet. This was something she didn't even dare to think about in the past. But now, the Sky Demon Chaos Stone Tablet was placed in front of her. As long as she wanted to, she could devour it at any time. This Chaos Stone Tablet is for you. Hurry up and devour it. Longao said with a smile, his face very gentle. Murongyang didn't immediately take the Sky Demon Chaos Stone Tablet. Longao didn't know what was going on, so he asked, Yang what's wrong? Very sad, Murongyang suppressed the sadness in her heart and said, Brother Long, you know that I don't want the Chaos Stone Tablet. After so many years, I just want to ask, Brother Long, why don't you accept me? Do you really not like me? Chapter 2335. Longao was most afraid of facing this question. Like Yang It would be a lie to say that he didn't like Yang at all. However, Longao didn't want to accept Murongyang because he already had 3 women. If he accepted Murongyang, how could he face the 3 of them? Yang Before Longao could speak, Murongyang continued, Brother Long, I know what you are worried about. Sister Bai Ling, Sister Yu Yin, and Sister Aoshue have already agreed. You just need to nod your head. Longao felt a headache coming on. Could it be that he had to continue rejecting her? Before Longao could react, Murongyang had already rushed over. The following scene could be imagined. The knot in Longao's heart had always been his 3 close female friends. However, things had already come to this. If he continued to reject Murong Yanga, not only would it hurt Yanga deeply, it would also go against his own heart. To show respect, Longao went to find the three of them one by one. Without any suspense, whether it was Yu Yin, Aoshue, or Bai Ling, none of them rejected him. The three of them all chose to accept Murong Yanga. After successfully obtaining the 12 primal chaos stone tablets, Longao was very clear that he had to find someone suitable to swallow the tablets in the shortest time possible. Out of the 12 primal chaos stone tablets, he had already taken out 7 of them. There were only 5 left. Lightning primal chaos stone tablet, darkness primal chaos stone tablet, strength primal chaos stone tablet, wind and cloud primal chaos stone tablet, and mad blade primal chaos stone tablet. It wasn't a simple matter to find them. Who should he choose? Thinking about it, Longao couldn't think of a reason. However, Longao quickly locked onto 3 people. One was his big brother, one was his grandfather, and one was Yu Yin's grandfather. Long Ying devoured the Wind Cloud Chaos Tablet, Mu Wanfeng devoured the Darkness Chaos Tablet, and as for Wang Yidao, he devoured the Mad Blade Chaos Tablet. Out of the remaining 5 Chaos Stone Tablets, 3 of them were gone. Only 2 were left. They were the Lightning Chaos Stone Tablet and the Strength Chaos Stone Tablet. This time, Longao was in a dilemma. Because he really didn't know who to give the remaining 2 Primal Chaos Stone Tablets to. As for the other 10 Primal Chaos Stone Tablets, in the end, they were all given to his family. It would be a lie to say that he had no selfish motives. It was precisely because of this confidence that Longao was very certain that the remaining 2 Primal Chaos Stone Tablets would definitely be given to his own people. Who should I give it to? In the end, Longao was still prepared to give it to 2 people, Jian Wudi and Yi Ji. As for the 2 of them, Longao was still not completely confident, so he called the 2 of them over. "Brother Long, why are you looking for us?" Yi Ji didn't say anything. However, the 2 of them were very curious. They didn't know why Longao was looking for them. Yi Ji, as a starry sky immortal, chose to stay mostly because of gratitude and gratitude. Otherwise, Yi Ji would have left long ago. He wouldn't have stayed in Soaring Dragon Empire. How could Longao not know what Yi Ji was thinking? However, after thinking about it, the Lightning and Strength Primal Chaos Stone Tablet seemed to be the most suitable for the 2 of them. "The 2 of you, I hope that you will now swear a blood oath. No matter what, you will never betray Soaring Dragon Empire. Furthermore, you will forever be my Soaring Dragon Empire's people." Ah! Hearing Longao's words, the 2 of them were shocked. They didn't know what Longao meant. Why did he want the 2 of them to swear a blood oath? Not only would they never betray Soaring Dragon Empire, but they would also forever be Soaring Dragon Empire's people. According to their understanding of Longao's character, Longao didn't seem like such a person. What was going on? They couldn't figure it out. Although Jian Wudi was an elder of Soaring Dragon Empire, it didn't mean that he was a true Soaring Dragon Empire's people. Although he was friends with Longao, he definitely wouldn't be willing to swear a blood oath to forever be Soaring Dragon Empire's people. This was Longao. If it was someone else, Jian Wudi would have already turned hostile. As for Yi Ji, his face was indifferent. "Brother Long, forgive me for being blunt. Brother Jian, please speak. Brother Long, you and I are friends. I shouldn't have come to Soaring Dragon Empire. However, forget it, I don't want to say anything else. I just want to say that I joined Soaring Dragon Empire because of our friendship. Now you want me to swear a blood oath, isn't it a bit too much?" Was he too much? If it was any other matter, whether this was right or wrong would be unknown. However, the current situation was very special. In front of the Primal Chaos Stone Tablet, Longao didn't think that his actions were too much. Just as his grandfather was worried, if he handed over the Primal Chaos Stone Tablet, the other party would become a starry sky dominator and betray him. Wouldn't that be a loss? It would be a lie to say that he didn't have any selfish motives. Longao knew very well what the Primal Chaos Stone Tablet meant. If he handed it over just like that, he wouldn't feel at ease. Yi Ji smiled and said, "Longao, although I don't know what you mean, I don't have the slightest problem. Thank you for avenging me before. I have already said that from then on, My life is yours. After saying that, Yi Ji didn't hesitate and immediately swore a blood oath. Seeing Yi Ji swear a blood oath in front of him, Gen Wudi was completely stunned. He couldn't figure it out. Even if Longao helped Yi Ji avenge his father, it was impossible for him to swear such a blood oath. It was too ridiculous. In Gen Wudi's view, this was simply impossible because no matter what, Yi Ji was still a starry sky immortal. He was only one step away from breaking through the limit. How could he swear such a blood oath? Longao was also a little surprised. He didn't expect Yi Ji to swear such a blood oath so quickly. He looked at Gen Wudi. Longao didn't speak because he didn't want to force Gen Wudi. Gen Wudi was right about one thing. They were still friends. He was willing to give Gen Wudi a chance. As for whether Gen Wudi was willing to give it to him or not, it didn't depend on him, but on Gen Wudi himself. Longao had already thought about it. As long as Gen Wudi wasn't willing, he definitely wouldn't give him the primal chaos stone tablet. He could vaguely sense that although Gen Wudi treated him as a friend, they weren't brothers. If it wasn't for Gen Wudi's master, Gen Wudi definitely wouldn't have joined the Soaring Dragon Empire. Gen Wudi also understood Longao's meaning. But after thinking about it, he shook his head helplessly and said, "Brother Long, if it was anything else, even if it meant accompanying you to death, I wouldn't hesitate to agree. But this is the only thing I can't agree to. This is my principle. I'm sorry." Gen Wudi's meaning was clear. He refused without hesitation. Chapter 2336. Since that's the case, Brother Gen, I won't force you. After Gen Wudi left, Yi Ji had a face full of curiosity. He asked very doubtfully, "Longao, what exactly do you mean?" Yi Ji knew very well that Longao wouldn't do this for no reason. There had to be something fishy going on. His intuition told him that something good was about to happen. However, from start to finish, Yi Ji had never imagined that he would obtain a primal chaos tablet. Yi Ji, let's make this short. This time, 12 primal chaos tablets appeared in the primal chaos plane. You should know about this. Of course Yi Ji knew about this. In the past, he had wanted to go to the primal chaos plane to seize a primal chaos tablet, but Longao had stopped him. In order to repay his kindness, Yi Ji hadn't gone. Could it have something to do with this? Yi Ji, I was outside the primal chaos plane at the time. To tell you the truth, the 12 rulers of the universe were all waiting outside. No matter who it was, once they obtained a primal chaos tablet, they would die without question. Yi Ji didn't doubt Longao's words at all. Because Longao had no reason to lie to him. If that was really the case, then it was a good thing he hadn't gone. Otherwise, even if he did obtain a primal chaos tablet, the only outcome would probably be death. Just thinking about it made him feel afraid. Yi Ji finally understood why Longao had stopped him from going to the primal chaos plane. It was because the 12 rulers of the universe were waiting outside the primal chaos plane. He was very shocked. Because everyone knew that countless years ago, the 12 rulers of the universe had all perished, and they hadn't appeared for many years. Previously, there had been rumors that the rulers of the universe hadn't truly perished. He hadn't believed it, but now it seemed that it was true. As for the matter of the oracle scaring away 2 peak starry sky immortals, aside from Longao and a few others, no one else knew, including Yi Ji. My luck isn't bad. This time, when I entered the primal chaos plane, not only did I obtain a primal chaos tablet, but I also obtained 12 primal chaos tablets. Yi Ji was completely stunned. He couldn't believe it, because he had never imagined that Longao would be able to obtain all the primal chaos tablets. What did this mean? Of course Yi Ji knew what it meant for Longao to obtain 12 primal chaos tablets at the same time. Yi Ji was not a fool. Of course, he knew why Longao wanted him to swear a blood oath. Could it be that Longao was prepared to let him devour the primal chaos stone tablet? Before Yi Ji could ask, Longao said, "Yi Ji, I'm sure you've already guessed." "That's right. The reason why I made you and Gen Wudi swear a blood oath was because I wanted you to devour the Chaos Stone tablet. But Gen Wudi wasn't willing, so there was nothing I could do." If Gen Wudi were to find out about this, who knew how Gen Wudi would feel? He would probably regret it to the extreme. Yi Ji was pleasantly surprised. Longao, are you really going to let me devour the Primal Chaos Tablet? He nodded. Yi Ji, I have a total of 12 Primal Chaos Tablets. The Ice and Fire Primal Chaos Tablet, the Lightning Primal Chaos Tablet, the Darkness Primal Chaos Tablet, the Sky Demon Primal Chaos Tablet, the Black Dragon Primal Chaos Tablet, the Life Primal Chaos Tablet, the Strength Primal Chaos Tablet, the Wind and Cloud Primal Chaos Tablet, the Spirit Primal Chaos Tablet, the Light Primal Chaos Tablet, the Mad Blade Primal Chaos Tablet, and the Godly Spear Primal Chaos Tablet. I've thought about it, and found that you are most suited for the Strength Primal Chaos Tablet. Until now, Longao still hadn't been able to sense what grade the 12 Primal Chaos Tablets he had obtained were. This was what Longao was most depressed about. The Strength Primal Chaos Tablet? To Yi Ji, it didn't matter what type of Primal Chaos Tablet it was. As long as he could devour the Primal Chaos Tablet and refine it, then he could become the ruler of the universe. The ruler of the universe, the true overlord of the universe. If he could become the ruler of the universe, he could do anything. Many thanks. Longao didn't hesitate at all. He immediately summoned the Strength Primal Chaos Tablet from within his body. It floated between the two of them. This is the Strength Primal Chaos Tablet? Yes. This was the first time Yi Ji had seen a Primal Chaos Tablet. Because of his excitement, his entire body was shaking. When he thought about how he was about to devour a Primal Chaos Tablet, even now, he still couldn't believe that he would be able to devour a Primal Chaos Tablet. Go ahead. I. After saying go ahead 3 times, Yi Ji still couldn't say it. Without any hesitation, he began to devour the floating Primal Chaos Tablet. This was the so-called Strength Primal Chaos Tablet. It was still the same sentence. Yi Ji didn't care what type of Primal Chaos Tablet it was. As long as he could devour it and refine it, that would be the greatest gift. Longao arranged a secret place for Yi Ji. He directly listed it as a forbidden area. Of the 12 Primal Chaos Tablets, 11 had already been given away. Only the Lightning Primal Chaos Tablet was left. Originally, the Lightning Primal Chaos Tablet was left for Gen Wudi. However, Gen Wudi wasn't willing to swear a blood oath. It seemed like he would have to find someone else to devour the Lightning Primal Chaos Tablet. In the courtyard. Originally, Longao was sitting alone, quietly drinking tea. At this time, Xiling walked in and said, "You really have a lot of free time. This time, you obtained 12 Primal Chaos Tablets. Luckily, the clairvoyant didn't sense them. Otherwise, you would be in big trouble." Xiling didn't expect Longao to be able to hide the 12 Primal Chaos Tablets. Even the clairvoyant didn't sense them. If he hadn't seen it with his own eyes, he wouldn't have believed it. Longao smiled and said, "I have full confidence in my Primal Chaos Tablets. Otherwise, I wouldn't have been able to hide them from the clairvoyant." No matter what, this time, it was scary but not dangerous. Longao was very curious. He didn't know why Xiling had suddenly come looking for him. Did something happen? Before Longao could ask, Xiling spoke first. "Longao, I came here today to ask for your help. Please speak. As long as I can help, I won't refuse." Longao was very surprised. In all this time, Xiling had never asked him for anything. This seemed to be the first time. Longao was very grateful to Xiling. If it weren't for Xiling, he wouldn't have reached where he was today. Because of this, Longao had already decided that no matter what it was, as long as he could help, he wouldn't refuse. Xiling looked like he wanted to say something, but he hesitated. It seemed like there was something he couldn't say. "Xiling, if you have something to say, just say it." Xiling nodded and said, "Longao, I want to ask if you still have the 12 Primal Chaos Tablets you obtained." What did Xiling mean by this? Longao was very curious. Chapter 2337. Could it be that Xiling wanted to devour another Primal Chaos Tablet? That didn't seem very likely. Xiling himself had already devoured the Sword Intent Tablet. Of the 12 primal chaos tablets he had, there didn't seem to be any more suitable for Xiling than the sword intent tablet. Since that was the case, what did Xiling mean by this? Longao was confused. Seeing that Longao wasn't speaking, Xiling finally said, "Longao, I want to ask you to help me with something. I know what it is." Without waiting for Xiling to finish speaking, Longao already said, "There's no harm in saying it directly." The more it was like this, the more Longao felt that something was amiss. He had never seen Xiling act like this before. What was going on? "Longao, I want to ask for a primal chaos tablet for Che Yaman. I don't know if that's possible." So that's what it was. Longao was very surprised, because he really hadn't imagined that Xiling would ask for a primal chaos tablet for his disciple. If it were anything else, Longao wouldn't hesitate at all. Only primal chaos tablets were the most terrifying cosmic artifacts in the universe. If Xiling wanted a primal chaos tablet and devoured it himself, Longao wouldn't have any problems either. But now, his face was very serious, because Longao's primal chaos tablet was meant for his own people. But Xiling had already asked. Could he really refuse? "Xiling, tell me what you mean." Longao knew that Xiling wouldn't say such things for no reason. He had to have his own reasons. Thinking of this, Longao didn't immediately refuse Xiling. Xiling said, "Longao, I trust that you know Che Yaman's talent better than I do. If Che Yaman is able to devour a primal chaos tablet, there is a very high chance that she will be able to refine it. At that time, Che Yaman will definitely become a ruler of the universe. For both you and me, this will be very beneficial." Talent. To Longao, this was not a reason. Because to Longao, talented people were everywhere. Even people who were more amazing than Che Yaman could be found everywhere. Che Yaman was Xiling's disciple, but she wasn't his disciple, nor was she one of his people. Handing over a primal chaos stone tablet just like that wasn't too likely. It was still the same sentence. If he handed over the primal chaos stone tablet, and Che Yaman became the ruler of the universe, then betrayed him, wouldn't he be digging his own grave? Xiling didn't say anything either. This was because she knew very well that this matter was a little difficult to bring up. After all, she knew very well what the primal chaos stone tablet signified. "Xiling, have you decided? I just came to ask for your opinion." The primal chaos stone tablet was not obtained by Xiling, so he could not casually make decisions about it. Xiling knew that in the future, only two people would be able to fight for supremacy in the universe. One was the clairvoyant, and the other was Longao. Others might not know, but how could she not know? Longao's non-elemental primal chaos stone tablet was definitely a high-level primal chaos stone tablet. Once he truly grasped the power within it, then, the clairvoyant and Longao would truly be undefeatable existences. In front of a high-level ruler of the universe, whether it was a low-level or mid-level ruler of the universe, it was all nonsense. Longao thought for a while, then said, "Letting Che Yaman devour the lightning primal chaos stone tablet is no problem at all, but I have a request." "Speak." Hearing Longao agree, Xiling's heart was filled with joy, but more than that, she felt gratitude. Because she knew very well that Longao's primal chaos stone tablet would definitely not be given to Che Yaman. The reason Longao had agreed was purely to give her face. Using the primal chaos stone tablet to give her face, this was a huge favor. "Xiling, with our friendship, I don't need to be so polite. The meaning of the primal chaos stone tablet, I believe you know better than I do. I can't give it to an outsider for free." "Then what do you mean?" "Che Yaman swears a blood oath that she will forever be a member of the Soaring Dragon Empire. Moreover, she must choose to submit to you." Without any surprise, Xiling had already guessed that Longao would do this. The primal chaos stone tablet was of great importance. For Longao to give Che Yaman a primal chaos stone tablet was already an inconceivable matter. This request wasn't too much. "Yaman, come out." Che Yaman definitely couldn't hear their conversation. From start to finish, Che Yaman didn't know what they were talking about. However, she was certain that the topic they were talking about was related to her. Otherwise, her master wouldn't have let her come. What was it about? "Master, Master. Che Yaman was very respectful. She was very clear about the strength and status of the two people. Especially her master, who was actually the overlord of the vast starry sky, the ruler of the starry sky. Until now, Che Yaman was still a little confused. She never thought that she would one day have a ruler of the starry sky as her master. All of this was thanks to one person, and that was Longao in front of her. Because of this, Che Yaman was very grateful to Longao. Xiling nodded. He seemed to dote on his disciple. This was something that Longao could see. Yaman, now there is an opportunity that will be of great help to you. However, Master Long has already said that if you want to get this opportunity, you must swear a blood oath that you will forever serve the Soaring Dragon Empire. Moreover, you must choose to submit to me. Ah! What did that mean? Although she respected the two of them, Che Yaman was also very clear about what her master had just said. If that was the case, she would become a slave of the Soaring Dragon Empire for generations to come. What kind of opportunity was it that required such a price? However, Che Yaman wasn't a fool. She was very clear that if Master Long and her master personally said so, this opportunity must be no small matter. Otherwise, with the strength and status of the two people, how could they make her swear a blood oath and choose to submit to them? This was completely nonsense. What kind of opportunity was it? Che Yaman couldn't think of it because even if she was beaten to death, she would never have thought that the temptation her master and Master Long would give out would be the Chaos Stone Tablet. If she knew, she believed that Che Yaman wouldn't even think about it and directly agree because this opportunity to her was like a pie falling from the sky. Unfortunately, Che Yaman didn't know. Would Che Yaman choose to give up like Jen Wudi? If that was the case, if Che Yaman knew about this, she would probably regret it to death. You're not willing? Master Long, I want to ask, what exactly is this opportunity? I can't tell you yet. Longao deliberately said this. He wanted to see if Che Yaman was willing to do so. If he could choose to compromise, then the Lightning Chaos Stone Tablet wouldn't give Che Yaman the opportunity and would directly give it to Jen Wudi. Longao wanted to be absolutely prepared just in case. After all, the Chaos Stone Tablet was too powerful. P.S. Last month, I was treated for an illness for a month. My lumbar muscles were strained because I sat in front of the computer for a long time. Yesterday, I went for a checkup and my condition was considered stable. However, I can't update like before. However, from today onwards, I will try my best to update. At least 3 to 5 chapters a day. If I have time, I will update more. Chapter 2338. Xiling didn't say anything, but his meaning was clear. Che Yaman was completely depressed. What did Master and Master Long mean by this? Her expression changed again. Reject. Or agree. For a moment, Che Yaman didn't know what to do. Because in the end, Che Yaman didn't want to do this. If she did, she would be completely subservient. Che Yaman wasn't the only one who wouldn't do this. Jen Wudi was the best example. Longao shook his head. Xiling understood what he meant. Xiling's expression didn't look too good either. She had thickened her skin to ask Che Yaman for the Primal Chaos Stone Tablet. As long as Che Yaman nodded, she could easily obtain the Primal Chaos Stone Tablet. To Che Yaman, this was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. But the result? Che Yaman didn't live up to expectations. After so long, she still didn't agree. Che Yaman was thinking. Xiling didn't say anything, because she knew that Longao was testing Che Yaman. Success or failure depended on this. As time slowly passed, Longao's expression began to show impatience, but more than that, it was disappointment. Xiling's face was also filled with disappointment. This was his disciple. This was his most beloved disciple. This was the Che Yaman who had shamelessly asked Longao for the Chaos Stone Tablet. She wanted to fulfill her disciple's wish. Was it worth it for him to do this? Master Long, she waved her hand. Before Che Yaman could reply, Longao had already stopped her. He smiled and said, everyone has their own aspirations. If you don't agree, we can understand. Without giving Che Yaman any chance to speak, Longao continued, Xiling, what do you think? Xiling was helpless. He said helplessly, she didn't live up to expectations. She can't blame anyone. Longao didn't say anything else. He sat down again, picked up the teacup on the table, and began to slowly drink his tea. Master. Let's go. Longao's face was filled with helplessness as he watched the master and disciple gradually disappear. Originally, he had planned to give Xiling face and let Che Yaman devour the last lightning chaos stone tablet. But unexpectedly, Che Yaman chose to give up like Gen Wudi. That was how humans were. The opportunity was clearly in front of him, but he didn't grasp it properly. Take Yi Ji for example. He had promised Longao that he would devour the primal chaos stone tablet. As long as nothing unexpected happened, Yi Ji would become the new ruler of the universe. In the distance, Che Yaman looked at her master who had been silent all the way and muttered in her heart. Could it be that she had made the wrong choice this time? However, Che Yaman did not regret it. No matter how big the opportunity was, asking him to choose to submit to the soaring dragon empire and swear a blood oath to serve for generations to come was a bit too much. Yaman, sigh. Seeing her master in such a state, Che Yaman muttered in her heart. He had a bad premonition. Che Yaman was very clear about her master's strength and identity. To be able to make her master like this, it seemed like the conditions that Master Long offered were really terrifying. Master, I'm willing. Willing? Xiling helplessly shook his head and said, You're willing to eat it now. Yaman, do you know that if you had agreed to Master Long's conditions, then in the future, you could have reached my level? It's a pity. At this point, Xiling did not continue speaking. But the meaning of his words was very clear. Che Yaman was not an idiot. She instantly understood what her master meant. She had also heard about the primal chaos plane. Rumors. 12 primal chaos stone tablets had appeared in the primal chaos plane. But because of Master Long's orders, no matter who it was, no one was allowed to step into the primal chaos plane. Only Master Long himself had entered the primal chaos plane. Following the collapse of the primal chaos plane, everyone thought that the remaining primal chaos stone tablets would automatically disappear. Because the matter of Longao devouring a primal chaos stone tablet was no longer a secret. Could it be that Master Long himself did not devour the primal chaos stone tablet, but wanted her to devour the primal chaos stone tablet? That seemed a little too ridiculous. Humans were selfish, including Master Long. Even if she did not devour the primal chaos stone tablet, she would not casually hand it over. Instead, she would give it to her family to devour. That was the most logical thing to do. But Che Yaman was very clear that her master would not lie to her. Besides, her master and Master Long's attitude just now seemed to be that apart from this, there was nothing else. Now that she thought about it, if it had been anything else, the two of them would not have made her swear a blood oath and pledge allegiance to them forever. Unless it was the primal chaos stone tablet. Because Master Long was afraid that she would devour the primal chaos stone tablet and become the ruler of the stars, then betray the soaring dragon empire. So he made this move first. That must be it. If that was really the case, then wouldn't it mean that she had wasted a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity? If she could really devour the primal chaos stone tablet and become the ruler of the stars, then even if she chose to pledge allegiance to them, so what? After all, if Master Long and Master released such an opportunity, she believed that countless people would choose to accept. Thinking of this, Che Yaman was extremely regretful. Master, I beg you, I am willing to swear a blood oath and pledge allegiance to you forever. I hope you can talk to Master Long again. The situation was already clear. If Che Yaman still could not think of it, then she would be an idiot. Such a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, Che Yaman of course did not want to give it up. She was very clear that she could not even talk to Master Long. No matter what, she was the one who gave up this opportunity. She could only blame herself. Xiling however shook his head and said helplessly, Yaman, even if I go to Master Long now, do you think you can still get this opportunity? Definitely not. Even if she encountered this opportunity, she probably would not have accepted it. But would she give up just like that? She was not willing, she was not willing. Master. Forget it, the opportunity was given to you. It's you who didn't grasp it. Yaman, your talent is not bad. With my help, it won't be hard for you to become a peak universe immortal. For you, this is not bad. Xiling clearly did not want to say more. This was not her fault. It was Yaman who chose to give up. She had already tried her best. If she went to Longao again, even if Longao didn't mind, she would hate herself. Especially the primal chaos stone tablet thing, she really could not bring herself to say it. Seeing her master turn and leave, Yaman clenched her fists tightly. She was not willing to give up. Yaman knew her master would not continue to help her. She could only rely on herself. She could only find Master Long herself. Chapter 2339. In the courtyard. Longao closed his eyes to rest, quietly basking in the sun. Even when Yaman entered the courtyard, Longao didn't open his eyes. Master Long slowly opening his eyes, Longao asked, "What's the matter?" Respectfully. Yaman said embarrassedly, "Master Long, about what happened just now, I went back and thought about it. I am willing to make a blood oath and pledge allegiance to the Soaring Dragon Empire." Longao had already guessed that at this moment, Yaman definitely knew about the primal chaos stone tablet. The more so, the more unwilling he was to give it to Yaman. This person couldn't do it. This was Longao's evaluation of Yaman. "Did your master ask you to come?" "No." As expected. Longao had already guessed that Yaman had already chosen to give up. Xiling wouldn't come back and wouldn't mention this matter again. Longao had a good impression of Yaman before, but now, no matter what, he wouldn't give it to her. "Yaman, I don't want to talk about other things. I still have things to do." Without even giving Yaman a chance to speak, Longao had already ordered her to leave. Yaman had already guessed that this would happen. She wanted to speak a few times, but in the end, she endured it and turned to leave. In the distance. Looking at the courtyard in the distance, Yaman's face became darker and darker. She coldly said, "Longao, you are heartless. Don't blame me for being unjust." The more Yaman thought about it, the angrier she got. She only hesitated for a moment and didn't make too many mistakes. Why did he have to kill her with a stick? She didn't even have a chance. People were just so cheap. Longao clearly gave her a chance, but she didn't grasp it. Now, she even hated Longao. The last remaining Chaos Stone tablet, Longao felt a headache. But in the end, he still locked onto one person. That was Heifeng, this good brother he met in the vast starry sky. In the courtyard. "Master, are you looking for me?" "Heifeng, I'm going to make you swear a blood oath to be a member of the Soaring Dragon Empire for the rest of your life. Are you willing?" "Huh? What did Longao mean by this?" Heifeng was a little confused, because this was not Longao's style. However, he did not ask any questions. Heifeng immediately swore a blood oath, because in his opinion, he was a citizen of the Soaring Dragon Empire anyway. Whether he swore a blood oath or not, he was the same person. Moreover, with his relationship with Longao, it was impossible for Longao to harm him. Longao was also a little surprised. He didn't expect Heifeng to make such a blood oath without even thinking about it. Longao smiled. If he didn't help such a friend, it would be a little unkind of him. He didn't say anything else. "Blackwind, when the primal chaos plane opened, I obtained a primal chaos stone tablet. You can devour a primal chaos stone tablet." "Huh? Was this for real?" Hearing Longao's words, Heifeng was completely shocked, because he knew what devouring a primal chaos stone tablet meant. If he could really devour a primal chaos stone tablet, wouldn't he be able to become a starry sky ruler in the future? A starry sky ruler, the most terrifying existence in the vast universe. This happiness came too suddenly, and Heifeng was a little unable to accept it. It was like a meat pie suddenly fell from the sky, and Heifeng was stunned. In front of Longao, a primal chaos stone tablet floated. It was the last of the 12 primal chaos stone tablets, the lightning primal chaos stone tablet. This was a primal chaos stone tablet. Master, this. Heifeng, remember, this is my trust in you. Since he had already said this, Heifeng did not continue. He nodded heavily and directly devoured the primal chaos stone tablet. If it was something else, Heifeng might not care about it. Only the primal chaos stone tablet. The temptation of the primal chaos stone tablet was too great, because Heifeng was very clear what it meant for him to devour it. After Heifeng obtained the primal chaos stone tablet, he immediately went into closed-door cultivation. 3 days passed in the blink of an eye. A piece of news quickly spread through the vast universe. The moment the news came out, it shocked the entire universe. In the primal chaos plane, Longao had not only obtained a primal chaos stone tablet, but he had also obtained other primal chaos stone tablets. In other words, Longao had a total of 12 primal chaos stone tablets. What sort of concept was this? It was no secret that Longao had obtained primal chaos stone tablets. Furthermore, he had obtained 2 primal chaos stone tablets. However, one of the primal chaos stone tablets had already left on its own. Longao had obtained 12 primal chaos stone tablets. When did this happen? Soaring Dragon Empire, Great Hall. Everyone was gathered together, and their faces were very serious. This was because everyone knew that someone had done this on purpose. They wanted to kill Longao. Just who was this person? How could he be so vicious? Longao had a nonchalant look on his face because he had already guessed that this would be the case. Not to mention that he had indeed obtained the 12 Chaos Stone tablets. Even if he hadn't, he believed that someone would deliberately frame him. The most important thing was whether or not someone would choose to believe him. This was the most important thing. The first person to speak was Gen Wudi. He seemed to have forgotten everything that had happened before. From the beginning to the end, Gen Wudi did not know that he had wanted to devour the primal Chaos Stone tablets. Otherwise, he would have regretted it to death. Master, this time, someone deliberately spread the news to deal with you and the Empire. We have to find this person as soon as possible. Otherwise, we will be in big trouble. Why should I care? This matter ends here. Longao stood up and left. At this time, a terrifying aura came from outside, causing everyone's expression to change. However, Longao did not care. He took a step forward and disappeared without a trace. Soaring Dragon Realm. The person who had come was none other than Long Mie, the so-called reincarnation Starry Sky Ruler. Long Mie was one of the 12 Starry Sky Rulers. His reincarnation Primal Chaos Stone Tablet was a mid-level Primal Chaos Stone Tablet. Ever since the God Diviner had removed the power of the Primal Chaos Stone Tablet for no reason, Long Mie had been in seclusion, hoping to break through to the Starry Sky Ruler realm as soon as possible. He had never imagined that Longao would obtain the Primal Chaos Stone Tablets, and 12 of them at that. The others would not believe it, but only Long Mie. Long Mie understood Longao too well. There would be no waves without wind. This time, the Primal Chaos Stone Tablet was a little too strange. If someone had not done it on purpose, how could the Primal Chaos Stone Tablet collapse for no reason? Long Mie could not think of a second person besides Longao. Indeed. Long Mie immediately came out of seclusion to see if Longao had obtained the 12 Primal Chaos Stone Tablets. If he could obtain them, he could create his own army of Starry Sky Rulers. Chapter 2340. Long Mie, what's the meaning of this? Seeing Long Mie descend, Longao's expression turned cold. If it were anyone else, he wouldn't be afraid. Only Long Mie, who had been with him for so long, must have suspected that he had the 12 Chaos Tablets. If that was the case, things would be troublesome. Longao, let's not beat around the bush. I know very well what kind of person you are. If nothing unexpected happens during your trip to the Primal Chaos Plane, you must have obtained 12 Primal Chaos Stone Tablets. As the saying goes, those who see it have a share. How about we split the Primal Chaos Stone Tablets? Half each. Long Mie's appetite was really big. He actually wanted half of the Chaos Tablets. That was the so-called 6 Chaos Tablets. He cursed in his heart. Longmire's cultivation base had recovered to Star Sky Legend. He was only one step away from Star Sky Immortal. That was indeed the case. Longao heaved a sigh of relief. He knew very well that if Longmire regained his peak as the ruler of the Samsara Starry Sky, he and the entire empire would be no match for him. Longao was still very confident in fighting Star Sky Legends. "You're not willing? I didn't get the 12 Chaos Tablets." Hearing this, Longmire laughed. "Longao, it's fine if you deceive others, but do you think you can deceive me? I know best what kind of person you are. I don't need to tell you how great your abilities are. What do you think?" Longao was very curious. He didn't know why Longmire was so sure that he had the 12 Chaos Tablets. "Longao, if you don't hand over the 6 Chaos Tablets, you know the consequences. I don't need to tell you this." This time, he was determined to get the Chaos Tablets no matter what. Draconic Destroyer knew very well that if he could get his hands on the 12 Chaos Stone Tablets, he would be able to create 12 rulers of the universe. If that was the case, he would be able to dominate the entire universe in the future. Even the Oracle would have to give him some respect. Thinking of this, how could Longmire give up so easily? "What right do you have?" Without giving Longmire a chance to speak, Longao continued, "Longmire, if you had recovered your peak strength, I might have been wary of you. However, why don't we have a go at you now?" Before Draconic Annihilation could speak, Longao stretched out his right hand and held it tightly. Mastering the Starry Sky. In just an instant, the space around Dragon Annihilation began to shatter, and spatial cracks appeared. Dragon Annihilation already knew that Longao could control the Starry Sky and shatter it, so he wasn't surprised at all. If it were any other Starry Sky legend, even if they could resist, they would suffer a great loss. However, Draconic Annihilation's situation was completely different. His body unleashed a terrifying reincarnation power, crazily covering the surrounding space. The power of reincarnation collided with the spatial crack. It was still unknown who was stronger. They collided fiercely. In the end, the power of reincarnation and the power of the spatial rift were evenly matched. "Ha ha ha, Longao, I'm going to flatten your soaring dragon empire today. Leave no one alive." Just as Longmire was about to attack, an axe suddenly appeared in Longao's hand. It was the Chaos Axe. Even Longmire didn't recognize the Starry Sky divine weapon in Longao's hand. "Just you." Longao didn't say much nonsense, but he didn't use the Chaos Axe. He knew that if the battle continued, it would be a devastating blow to the Empire. The plan now was to leave the Empire first. Of course, Longmire knew what Longao meant. He wanted to take advantage of the opportunity in the Empire to make Longao hesitate. After all, Longmire was also a little afraid of Longao. Otherwise, he wouldn't have done this. Longao wanted to leave the Soaring Dragon Empire for the battle. Longmire wanted to stay in the Soaring Dragon Empire for the battle. With Longmire's current Starry Sky legendary strength, it should be very easy to destroy the Soaring Dragon Empire. However, the result shocked Longmire. Xilin's figure appeared and joined forces with Longao to deal with Longmire. Even if Longmire didn't want to leave the Soaring Dragon Empire, he could only retreat step by step. Soon, Longmire was forced out of the Soaring Dragon Empire by the two of them. Longmire was depressed because he knew that it would be difficult to deal with the combined might of Longao and Xiling with his own strength. However, in order to get the 12 Chaos Stone Tablets, Longmire gritted his teeth and continued to fight. "Xiling, are you really going to fall out with me for Longao?" Longmire was furious to the extreme. He never thought that Longao and Xiling had such a good relationship. For Longao, Xiling didn't hesitate to fight with him. If this was in the past, it would be almost impossible. What was the relationship between Longao and Xiling? Were they relatives? That shouldn't be possible. Xiling sneered and said coldly, "Longmire, from now on, you'd better not cross the line. Otherwise, you and I will fight to the death." Fight to the death? Longmire was very shocked because he never would have thought that Violet Spirit would not only completely fall out with him for the sake of a Longao, but also not rest until one of them was dead. Unless it was absolutely necessary, no ruler of stars would be willing to do this. Even the 12 of them back then didn't do this. Long Mie looked at the two people in front of him and his face changed again and again, becoming increasingly gloomy. Xiling, it seems that you are determined to be my enemy. If I'm not wrong, Longao must have given you enough benefits. I want to hear how many Chaos Stone tablets Longao gave you to make you risk your life. Violet Spirit sneered and scoffed, you really can't change your old habits. I've already said it, if you dare to come here again, I will definitely send you back into the cycle of reincarnation. It would be a lie to say that he wasn't afraid. Even Draconic Extinction was afraid of being reincarnated again. He knew very well that if he entered the path of reincarnation again, it would be very difficult for him to continue refining the primal chaos tablets when the other rulers of Star Sky returned to their peak strength. If Xiling really chose to fight to the death, then even Long Mie would be very wary and wouldn't dare act rashly. Longao smiled and said, Long Mie, I can tell you clearly that whether or not I get the Chaos Stone tablets has nothing to do with you. You'd better get out of here. Don't piss me off. Even if I have to risk my life, I will make you die. Believe it or not, it's up to you. Long Mie was well aware of Longao's abilities. Chapter 2341. If he recovered his strength as a star ruler, he wouldn't be afraid. But now, at most, he could recover to star ruler level. If Longao and Xiling chose to fight each other, he wouldn't be able to deal with them. At this moment, Yiji's figure suddenly appeared. As a star ruler, Yiji could definitely kill Long Mie. Star ruler? Seeing the sudden appearance of the star ruler, Long Mie's face grew darker and darker. If this continued, he wouldn't be able to gain anything. Longao, if I tell all the star rulers about this, what do you think will happen? How could Longao not know what Long Mie meant? However, he didn't care at all. He said nonchalantly, do as you wish. I'll be waiting for all the star rulers here. Longao was very confident. Only Long Mie would believe him. Would the others believe him? What a joke. If the godly mathematician and the others believed him, they would have already arrived. The more Longao acted like this, the angrier Long Mie became. If he had known this would happen, he would have cut the weeds and eliminated the roots to save himself the trouble. Long Mie knew he had miscalculated. When he chose Longao, he never would have thought that Longao would grow to this stage and even escape his control. Longao, if I hadn't chosen you, you wouldn't have reached this stage. Thank you. Longao didn't deny this. If Long Yin hadn't chosen him, he wouldn't have risen so quickly. Perhaps he would still be the trash of Scarlet Fire Town, mocked by everyone. However, Draconic Annihilation had always been plotting against him. If it weren't for his luck, he would have either perished or been completely controlled by Draconic Annihilation. There was no absolute right or wrong in this world. Longao, I don't need your thanks. I just need half of the Chaos Tablets. Give them to me and I'll leave immediately. How about it? Long Mie knew that the current situation wasn't very favorable for him. Even if he continued to stay, it would be an extremely difficult task to obtain all the Chaos Tablets. In this situation, it was better to first obtain half of the Primal Chaos Stone Tablets. As for the remaining 6, he would think of a way to obtain them in the future. How could Longao and the other two not understand the meaning of Dragon Annihilation? Extremely shameless. Without putting in any effort at all, he wanted to obtain the 6 Chaos Stone Tablets for free. Dragon Annihilation was truly shameless. Xiling laughed and said mockingly, Dragon Destroyer, you are as shameless as ever. I feel ashamed for you. How did someone like you manage to swallow the Chaos Tablet? It is so sad that the Chaos Tablets are so pathetic. He ignored Xiling. This was not the right time to fall out with Xiling. The most important thing was to obtain the Primal Chaos Stone Tablet. That was the most important thing. Longao, if I don't get what I want, I will keep waiting outside. You should know the consequences. Assassination. Sneak attack. A space ruler's assassination and sneak attack. Even if Dragon Annihilation was only a space legend, it was still a destructive blow to the soaring Dragon Empire. Because Longao knew very well that he couldn't protect his empire all the time. There would be a time when he would fail. When that time came, he didn't even dare to think about it. Longao's expression was very ugly. Because his family was his bottom line. No matter who it was, no one could touch his bottom line. If it was anyone else, Longao would definitely destroy them. How could he leave any trouble for himself? He would cut the weeds and eliminate the roots. But Dragon Annihilation's situation was very special. Although Dragon Annihilation was only a space legend, he was still a space ruler. It wasn't easy for him to destroy Dragon Annihilation. To kill Dragon Annihilation, he had to do one thing first. That was to completely destroy the Chaos Tablet inside Dragon Annihilation's body, which was the so-called Reincarnation Chaos Tablet. Was it possible to destroy the Reincarnation Chaos Tablet? It was almost impossible. Longao didn't have the slightest bit of confidence. Yi Ji and Xiling on the side, of course, knew that Longao was depressed and angry. If Dragon Annihilation really did that, things would be very troublesome. What should they do? The only way was to completely seal Dragon Annihilation. That way, even if they couldn't destroy Dragon Annihilation, it would be impossible for Dragon Annihilation to assassinate or sneak attack the soaring Dragon Empire. Xiling looked at Longao, and Longao looked at Xiling. In an instant, both of them understood each other's intentions. Dragon Annihilation, it seems like you want to fight to the death with me. Dragon Annihilation wasn't a fool. Of course, he knew what Longao and Xiling meant at this time. If the two of them insisted on killing him, then even he would have a hard time dealing with them. If it were anything else, Dragon Annihilation wouldn't be so stubborn. Only the Chaos Tablet, Dragon Annihilation was determined to get it. Even if he had to pay a high price, he had to get it. And it wasn't just one Chaos Tablet, it was 12 Chaos Tablets. So what if they had a falling out? Longao, why don't you and I each attack and see who wins in the end? If you want to seal me, then let's see if you have the strength to do so. What a joke. If it was the Oracle or Xiling, who had already refined the Sword Chaos Tablet and become the Star Dominator, then perhaps they could do it. But now, could Longao and Xiling do it? Without a doubt, they couldn't. Xiling's situation was no different from his. That was why Dragon Annihilation was very afraid of Xiling, but he wouldn't give up so easily. Both sides were in a deadlock. You look at me, I look at you. Everyone's face was very dignified. No one was willing to shed all pretenses of cordiality unless it was absolutely necessary. Although both sides had reached a situation where it was either you die or I die, at this time, no one was willing to lose both sides. What should they do? One didn't want to hand over the Chaos Tablet, the other didn't want to give up. They were in a deadlock. At this time, Xiling suddenly said, Longao, what are you waiting for? Attack now. Xiling, Yi Ji, and Longao didn't hesitate. The three of them knew very well that the longer they delayed, the more disadvantageous it would be for them. The plan now was to seal Dragon Annihilation, then find a way to destroy the Reincarnation Tablet and kill him. Ha ha ha, ha 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 ha, Longao, you're courting death. Dragon Annihilation didn't expect that Xiling and Longao would choose to attack in this situation. They really didn't know what was good for them. Even if he wasn't a match for the three of them, when it came to leaving, no one could stop him except for the Oracle. Chapter 2342. They did not waste any more time. Longao, Xiling, and Yi Ji rushed towards Long Shui with all their might. Their speed soared to the extreme. Long Mie did not plan to stay. He knew very well that it was almost impossible for him to fight the three of them alone. In the end, he might really be sealed here. As long as he left, Longao would have no choice but to submit to assassinations or sneak attacks in the future. Regarding Long Mie's meaning, how could Longao three people not know? That was exactly what he meant. The three of them attacked Long Mie frantically, hoping to keep him here. In the end, Long Mie still managed to escape. Longao's face was gloomy as he watched Long Mie leave. He did not know when Long Mie would appear. He could not guard everyone in the family. If he missed someone, the consequences would be unimaginable. What should he do? Longao, we're in big trouble now. If Longmire assassinates or sneaks attacks behind our backs, he will find an opportunity unless we guard here all the time. Regarding Purple Spirit's worries, how could Longao not know? This was also what Longao was most worried about. Longmire was too powerful. Although he was only a legend of the starry sky, no one knew when he would continue to break through or even regain the strength of a starry sky dominator. Xiling, what should we do now? Longao did not have a good idea at this time. The three of them returned to the soaring dragon empire, each of their faces more solemn than the other. Under such circumstances, Xiling and Yi Ji did not continue to cultivate in seclusion. As for the matter of Longmire, other than the three of them, Longao did not alert anyone else. The situation was very special. Even if everyone was alerted, it would not have any effect. Xiling thought for a while and said, Longao, we don't have a good way to stop Longmire at this time. Unless we seal him or kill him, we can't do either. Purple Spirit could also be considered to be extremely depressed. She never thought that Longmire, the starry sky dominator, would be so shameless. Sneak attack. Assassination? If it had been anyone else, it wouldn't have been a big deal. But as the ruler of starry sky, doing such a thing was shameless to the extreme. However, if Longmire wanted to be so shameless, there was nothing they could do. Primal Chaos Stone Tablet. Everything was caused by the Primal Chaos Stone Tablet. Draconic Annihilation was so confident because of the Primal Chaos Stone Tablet in his body. Everyone knew that as long as the Primal Chaos Stone Tablet wasn't destroyed, Draconic Annihilation was an undying existence. However, it was still the same. It was simply impossible to completely destroy the Primal Chaos Stone Tablet. What should he do? No matter how he thought about it, Longao couldn't think of a good idea. Standing up, Longao said, I'm going to find the oracle. If there had been another way, Xiling would have stopped Longao. She wouldn't have allowed Longao to find the clairvoyant, because she knew what it would mean if Longao went to find the clairvoyant. But now, all Xiling said was to be careful. Longao nodded. With a stride forward, his entire figure had already disappeared from the spot. Longao's speed was extremely fast. After 2 hours, he had already arrived at the Sky Martial continent from the Soaring Dragon Empire and smoothly entered. Longao knew that this was because the clairvoyant had allowed him to enter. Otherwise, let alone him, even the other rulers of the starry sky wouldn't necessarily be able to enter. In the outer sea, within the Crystal Palace. Longao, what are you doing here? The clairvoyant asked even though he already knew the answer. Perhaps others didn't know what had happened, but how could the clairvoyant not know? However, Longao didn't expose him. Without the slightest hesitation, he told the clairvoyant everything that had happened. Where are the Primal Chaos Stone Tablets in your body? The clairvoyant didn't doubt him at all. If Longao had 12 Primal Chaos Stone Tablets in his body, and if the Soaring Dragon Realm had 12 Primal Chaos Stone Tablets, it would be impossible to hide from him. I won't hide it from Senior. The Primal Chaos Stone Tablets in my body left on their own not long ago. A trace of disappointment and helplessness appeared on Longao's face. The clairvoyant was also very surprised. According to his calculations, if Longao had obtained the Primal Chaos Stone Tablets, then he would definitely be able to refine them and become the ruler of the starry sky. Why was that? Could his calculations have been wrong? The clairvoyant was extremely confident in his calculations. There was almost no way he would be wrong. What was going on? You want me to go find the clairvoyant? Correct. The clairvoyant thought for a moment, then said, that's not a problem. However, Longao, I trust you know that there's no such thing as a free lunch in this world. I've always helped you, so if I need your help in the future, I hope you can help me as well. How about it? No problem. Longao didn't even need to think about it. He was very clear that as long as he and the clairvoyant weren't mortal enemies, there wouldn't be any problems. The clairvoyant didn't hesitate in the slightest. He naturally knew how serious this matter was. He was well aware of Long Shui's situation. For a ruler of the starry sky to shamelessly attempt an assassination was truly troublesome. Otherwise, Longao wouldn't have come to find him. As for Longao, he didn't leave the Martial Heaven continent. No matter what, this was the plane he had always been on. It would be a lie to say that he didn't have any feelings for it. The current Martial Heaven continent had completely changed. The 10-directional cauldron no longer existed. Following the disappearance of the Heaven and Earth Gate and the Dragon Valley, the new 10-directional cauldron was rapidly rising. However, compared to the old 10-directional cauldron, it wasn't even worth mentioning. However, the current Longao wasn't the same as before. The current situation of the Martial Heaven continent had nothing to do with him. If the current Longao wanted to dominate the Martial Heaven continent, other than the clairvoyant, he would be an unrivaled existence. Before he knew it, Longao had arrived at Scarlet Flame Town. Scarlet Flame Town was his starting point. Back then, he had encountered Long Ying here and rapidly risen. In truth, according to normal circumstances, he should be thanking Long Shui. Without Long Shui's choice, he wouldn't have his current accomplishments. Scarlet Flame Town, the Long family's courtyard. The Long family's courtyard was now a forbidden zone. Because of Longao, the entire Scarlet Flame Town had become a forbidden zone of the Martial Heaven continent. Let alone ordinary people, even the 10-directional cauldron didn't dare to rashly provoke Scarlet Flame Town. Strictly speaking, they didn't dare to touch the Long family. Although the Long family's people had disappeared, their deterrence was still there. No one dared to come. Longao stood in front of his own house. His entire person was in an extremely calm state. Chapter 2343. Who is that person? You actually dare to stand in front of the Long family's courtyard. You really don't know the meaning of death. Gradually, there were many people watching in the surroundings, because none of them were fools. Of course, they knew that this person standing in front of the Long family's courtyard so calmly was definitely not an ordinary person. Could this person be from the Long family? Right at this moment, Longao's body suddenly emitted a terrifying aura, which instantly enveloped the entire Scarlet Fire Town. Everyone was pleasantly surprised when they felt the sudden arrival of the aura. Longao did this on purpose. With his current strength, it would be a piece of cake for him to bestow favors upon these people. The Scarlet Fire Town was not considered very strong in the Sky Martial continent. If it was not for the deterrence of the Long family, the Scarlet Fire Town would have been destroyed long ago. How could it have lasted for so long? It was precisely because of Longao's all-out help that the cultivation of everyone in the Scarlet Fire Town was madly skyrocketing. In just a few minutes, among all these people, if they weren't Supreme Tao warriors, then they were Nirvana warriors. The entire Red Fire Town had several 100,000 people. So many Supreme Tao warriors and Nirvana warriors, what kind of concept was this? Longao disappeared. From beginning to end, no one knew what had happened. The next day, this news had already spread throughout the Martial Heaven continent. The 10-directional cauldron was the most shocked. After the sudden change in the Scarlet Flame Town, the strongest power in the Martial Heaven continent was no longer the 10-directional cauldron, but the Scarlet Flame Town. What was going on? It was a miracle that no one knew. However, many people had already guessed why such a miracle didn't occur in other places, but only in Kaihua Town. Wasn't it a bit too much of a coincidence? But you have to know. The Scarlet Fire Town was originally the headquarters of the Long family. After the Long family left, the Scarlet Fire Town was still able to intimidate everyone, and no one dared to take half a step into it. Everyone had already guessed that the reason why the Scarlet Fire Town was like this was because of the Long family. The Long family has returned to the Sky Martial continent. The Scarlet Fire Town was now the strongest power in the Sky Martial continent, but it was still hidden in the Scarlet Fire Town. That was because everyone knew that there had to be someone helping them. The Scarlet Flame Town naturally wouldn't fight for hegemony over the Martial Heaven continent. Instead, they would obediently guard the Scarlet Flame Town. One day later, Master God Diviner successfully returned. The reason Longao hadn't left the Martial Heaven continent was to wait for the God Diviner. Longao had already guessed that Dragon Annihilation would definitely give face to the Oracle. If this had happened countless years ago, It was unknown whether Dragonslayer would have given him face. But now, the situation was completely different. Master God Diviner was the ruler of the universe, but Dragon Destroyer had yet to truly refine the primal chaos tablet and become the ruler of the universe. Others might not be able to do anything about Dragonbane, but that didn't mean that the Oracle couldn't. Outer Sea. In the Crystal Palace. Longao, fortunately, I didn't let you down. Longmire has agreed not to make a move for 100 years. You can rest assured. 100 years passed in the blink of an eye for cultivators in the Starry Skies. This was especially true for the Starry Skies ruler. Draconic extermination was in seclusion to refine the primal chaos tablet. Forget about 100 years, even 10,000 years or 100 million years would pass in a flash. Thank you. This time, Longao was truly grateful. If it hadn't been for Master God Diviner, it would have been very difficult for him to deal with Dragon Destroyer. Although he had obtained the neutral primal chaos tablet, who knew when he would be able to refine it? As long as Long Qiong, Xiling, and the others had obtained the primal chaos tablet, who knew how long it would take for them to break through to the Starry Skies ruler level? And so, if Dragon Destroyer really did launch a sneak attack in the dark, it would be a devastating blow to the Empire. Longao, you just have to remember that I helped you. Furthermore, you have to remember that we will never be enemies. He nodded. Longao didn't waste any more words. He turned and left. In a short while, he had vanished without a trace. After Longao left, Yidugu appeared. Very curious, Yidugu asked, "Father, why did you help him? We can borrow Dragon Destroyer's power to test him and see if Longao really did obtain the primal chaos tablet." Yidugu didn't quite believe Longao either. The primal chaos plane couldn't have collapsed for no reason. According to his father, the primal chaos plane had collapsed entirely because the 12 primal chaos tablets had left. Ask. Aside from Longao, who else could have taken away all the primal chaos tablets? But Master God Diviner shook his head. On this point, I firmly believe. Longao doesn't have any primal chaos tablets in his body. It seems that no one else was able to devour the 12 primal chaos tablets. Master God Diviner knew very well that Longao had been able to easily devour the primal chaos tablets, but he hadn't been able to keep them. This meant that the 12 primal chaos tablets weren't under anyone's control. Yidugu didn't doubt his father's words. He said, "Father, why don't we just watch from the sidelines and watch as Dragon Destroyer and Longao battle it out? Then we can reap the benefits." Waving his hand, Master God Diviner laughed and said, "I already said that I don't care whether or not others can become a ruler of the universe. As long as I can enter the mysterious Forbidden Land and master the power of the primal chaos tablets, I can truly become a high-level ruler of the universe. In the heavens above and the earth below, I will be the sole ruler of the universe." This was what Master God Diviner cared about the most. Master God Diviner knew very well that although he had obtained a high-level primal chaos tablet, before he could truly master the power of the primal chaos tablets, low-level primal chaos tablets, mid-level primal chaos tablets, and high-level primal chaos tablets weren't much different. "Father, can Longao really help you master the power of the primal chaos tablets?" Even now, Yidugu still couldn't believe it. How could someone who couldn't even refine the primal chaos tablets help his father master the primal chaos tablets? If his father hadn't said it himself, he wouldn't have believed it even if he was beaten to death. It was complete nonsense. Master God Diviner smiled and said confidently, "My calculations can't be wrong. Longao is the key to whether or not I can master the power of the primal chaos tablets. So, nothing can happen to Longao. So that's how it was. Father, what if Dragon Destroyer attacks Longao behind our backs?" Yidugu knew very well that if Dragon Destroyer really wanted to destroy the Soaring Dragon Empire, it wouldn't be difficult. After all, Dragon Destroyer's power and status were there. Master God Diviner snorted and said coldly, "If Dragon Destroyer insists on attacking the Soaring Dragon Empire behind our backs, don't blame me for not giving him face. Even if he has the primal chaos tablets, I can't truly destroy him. But I can seal him." Yidugu smiled because he had complete confidence in his father's power. Dragon Destroyer's power wasn't enough. Chapter 2344. Leaving the Tianwu continent. Longao, who was preparing to return to the soaring dragon empire, coincidentally met Long Mie. Coincidence? Longao knew very well that because of the oracle, Long Mie did not dare to continue to attack the empire. In other words, Long Mie was deliberately waiting for him here. Longao, you're really something. You actually asked the oracle for help. Do you think you can escape this disaster? Longao smiled. If you have the ability, you can attack. Hearing this, Long Mie's face became more and more gloomy. Because of the oracle's deterrence, he did not dare to attack the soaring dragon empire. Although he had the protection of the Chaos Stone tablet in his body and was almost immortal, the oracle could seal him and even put him back into the path of reincarnation. This was what Long Mie was most afraid of. His face changed again and again. Are you afraid? Longao, although I can't deal with the soaring dragon empire, it doesn't mean I can't deal with you. Just as Long Mie was about to finish, the oracle's figure suddenly appeared. The oracle. Long Mie, we have an agreement before. For 100 years, you are not allowed to deal with the soaring dragon empire. Have you forgotten? The oracle's face was very cold as he said coldly. It would be a lie to say that he was not afraid. Long Mie could not understand why the oracle did not attack them, the so-called starry sky rulers. But one had to know. If their cultivation recovered, even the oracle might not be able to seal them or deal with them. After all, the oracle had not truly grasped the power of the Chaos Stone tablet. In that case, why did the oracle not take advantage of the fact that they had not truly refined the Chaos Stone tablet to deal with the 11 of them? He could not figure it out. Oracle, according to our previous agreement, we only promised you not to deal with the soaring dragon empire, but not Longao, right? Indeed. The oracle shook his head and said indifferently, from now on, for 100 years, I hope you will not deal with Longao. After 100 years, I will not interfere in the matters between the two of you. 100 years, for a starry sky cultivator, may be a blink of an eye. However, Dragon Annihilation wasn't completely sure what it meant for Longao. This was because he was very sure that Longao had obtained the primal Chaos Stone tablet. He did not believe Longao's nonsense. What if Longao managed to refine the Chaos tablet within 100 years and become the ruler of space? What would he do then? It was very depressing. When Master God Diviner made a move, Draconic Annihilation was very wary. He didn't want to fall out with Master God Diviner until he truly became the ruler of stars. You're not willing? Master Oracle, don't you think you've gone a bit too far? The grudge between me and Longao. Not giving Dragon Destroyer a chance to speak, Master God Diviner said, Dragon Destroyer, I don't care about anything else. You just have to answer. Do you agree? Master God Diviner's face slowly darkened. Dragon Slayer could sense the murderous aura emanating from Master God Diviner. If he chose not to agree, he was almost certain that Master God Diviner would attack. At that time, how would he deal with Master God Diviner? Just as Long Mie did not answer and his expression changed again and again, Longao said, Senior Clairvoyant, according to the agreement between you two, Long Mie only needs to not make a move against the soaring dragon empire within 100 years. As for the grudge between me and him, I hope that the two of us can settle it. Ah! Hearing Longao's words, not only the God Diviner, but even Long Mie was a bit shocked. The two of them had never thought that Longao would be like this. Was Longao really not afraid of death? Master God Diviner knew that although Dragon Destroyer had not yet recovered his strength as the ruler of stars, he had already recovered to the peak of the Legend of Stars. He was only one step away from becoming a star immortal. What about Longao? Longao had only just become a star immortal. Although they were only one level apart, in terms of strength, Longao was far inferior to Dragon Destroyer, especially when Dragon Destroyer had the help of the Chaos Tablet. If Longao had not said this and Master God Diviner had intervened, Dragon Destroyer would have had no choice but to obey, even if he was unwilling and angry. But now, Longao had said that Master God Diviner did not need to intervene. How could Master God Diviner continue to interfere? Okay. After Master God Diviner disappeared, Dragon Destroyer suddenly laughed. Longao, I have to admit that you are very bold. What makes you think you can fight me? Looking at Dragon Destroyer in front of him, Longao suddenly laughed and said, Dragon Destroyer, I can tell you clearly that I have the Chaos Tablet. So what? Even if you refine the Chaos Tablet in the future and become a star ruler, you won't be my match. You'll always be beneath my feet. Hearing Longao admit that he had the Chaos Tablet, Dragon Destroyer's face turned cold. It was just as he'd guessed. Longao hadn't just gotten one Chaos Tablet. If he wasn't mistaken, Longao had 12 Chaos Tablets. If that was the case, then Longao had said that he had 2 Chaos Tablets. He'd even told Dragon Destroyer that the Chaos Tablet he'd obtained had left. It seemed that the Chaos Tablet hadn't left, but had been hidden by Longao. Dragon Destroyer was shocked. Dragon Destroyer couldn't figure out how Longao had done it. If Longao had hidden the Chaos Tablet, not even Master God Diviner would have been able to sense it. If he hadn't seen it with his own eyes, he would have found it hard to believe. Longao, I can choose to take a step back. What I said before still stands. Of the 12 Chaos Tablets you have, I only want half. I won't take the rest. How about it? If it had been anyone else, they might have chosen to compromise in order to avoid trouble, especially when facing the Starry Sky Ruler. Only Longao smiled and said mockingly, Longmye, I can tell you clearly that no matter when, no matter where, I will not give you the Primal Chaos Stone Tablet. Let me give you a piece of advice. You'd better give up. Who was Longmye? He was the ruler of the Samsara Starry Sky, one of the 12 rulers of the Starry Sky. He had never been humiliated like this before. It would be a lie to say that he wasn't angry. Even so, Dragon Destroyer suppressed the anger in his heart. Unless he had no other choice, he didn't want to fight. His words were still the same. He had to get the 12 Chaos Tablets first. As for Longao's life and death, compared to the Chaos Tablets, it didn't count for anything. Longao, I'll give you one last chance. Hand over the Chaos Tablet. Otherwise, humph. Chapter 2345. Cut the weeds and eliminate the roots. Even now, Dragonslayer didn't know why Master God Diviner was helping Longao. Was it because Longao was a variable? If that was the case, it was a bit ridiculous. However, Dragonslayer was very wary of Master God Diviner. If Master God Diviner insisted on helping Longao, it would be difficult for him to do anything. He would take advantage of this opportunity to deal with Longao and save himself some trouble in the future. In the end, Dragonslayer was afraid. No matter what, Longao's talent and potential were there for all to see. Especially since Longao had already devoured the Chaos Steelies. Once he refined them and became a ruler of the universe, it would be almost impossible for him to kill Longao. The more he thought about it, the more he felt something was wrong. The more he thought about it, the more he had to make the first move. How could Longao not understand Dragonslayer's intentions? He sneered. His face full of indifference, he smiled and said, Dragonslayer, why don't we make a bet? Speak. Dragonslayer was very wary of Longao. Things that couldn't happen to others could happen to Longao. This was Longao. Let's fight. If I win, you can't bother me for 100 years. If I lose, I'll give you all 12 Chaos Steelies. Longao was so confident. The calmer Longao appeared, the calmer Dragonslayer was. If it were anyone else, Dragonslayer would have agreed without hesitation. Only Longao did he shake his head and say, Longao, do you think you're qualified to bargain with me? Longao smiled. As for Longao's meaning, Longao was very clear in his heart. Dragonslayer was afraid that if he lost, he wouldn't be able to make a move for 100 years. If that was the case, then it wouldn't be impossible for him to refine the Chaos Steelies and become a ruler of the universe. This battle was unavoidable. If he didn't hit Dragonslayer hard, he would really think he was easy to bully. If Dragonslayer was at his peak, he really wouldn't be his match. But now, the situation was completely different. Dragon Annihilation had yet to truly refine the Primal Chaos Tablet, so he hadn't become a universe dominator yet. He had just recovered his universe legend power, and he hadn't even become a universe immortal yet. This could be considered a good opportunity. Longao and Longmire looked at each other as an unparalleled battle intent rose from their bodies. Longmire, you are truly shameless. You actually attacked a junior. Just as the two of them were about to fight, a cold sneer was heard. Immediately after, Blood Demon's figure suddenly appeared. His face was filled with disdain and mockery. Blood Demon and Dragon Destroyer already had a huge grudge against each other. If it wasn't for the fact that their strength was about the same, the two of them would have fought long ago. Blood Demon, you want to interfere in this matter? Looking at the sudden arrival of the Blood Demon, Longmire's face was very gloomy. This was because the Blood Demon's situation was almost exactly the same as his. His cultivation had also recovered to the star rank. If they really fought, it was really unknown who would win. If it was 1 against 2, Longmire didn't have full confidence that he could defeat both of them. Blood Demon sneered and said, Longmire, I thought you were shameless, but not to this extent. Now it seems that your shamelessness is unparalleled. It was a blatant disdain. Suppressing the anger in his body, Longmire took a step forward. But in the end, he held himself back. Longao didn't speak because he didn't know whether the Blood Demon was friend or foe. In this situation, whether it was Blood Demon or Longmire, they were both his enemies. If Gorefiend and Dragon Annihilation were to really start a war, then he could just watch from the sidelines and reap the benefits. Longao, you really got the Primal Chaos Tablet? He sneered in his heart. Longao already guessed that the Blood Demon didn't come this time to help him, but to steal his Primal Chaos Tablet. What Longmire, what Blood Demon, they were all the same kind of people. They were all scum. Yes, I did get 2 Primal Chaos Tablets, but they left one after the other. If you don't believe me, you can ask the clairvoyant. He just checked. In order to shut the Blood Demon's mouth, Longao directly used the clairvoyant. It was indeed effective. Bloodseeker nodded in agreement and said, Before I came, I already met with the divine mathematician. He also told me about this matter. Dragon Destroyer, have you gone crazy thinking about the Primal Chaos Tablet? If Longao had a Primal Chaos Tablet in his body, how could you not sense it? What an idiot. The anger in Longmire's heart was like a volcano that was about to erupt. Although he didn't know how Longao did it, even the clairvoyant couldn't sense the aura of the Primal Chaos Tablets. He was certain that Longao had all 12 of them. He was 100% sure. However, it was true that he could not sense any aura from the Primal Chaos Tablet within Longao's body. If that was the case, no one would believe him even if he said the heavens. If that was the case, Blood Demon would not believe him either. It was really a pain in the ass. Blood Demon, how about you and I join forces? Longao had already guessed that the Blood Devil's visit this time must have something to do with the divine mathematician. Otherwise, the Blood Devil wouldn't have come at this time. Moreover, Longao could clearly sense that the Blood Devil's visit this time was obviously on his side. If he gave up this opportunity, even he would feel sorry for himself. The Blood Demon didn't even think about it. He nodded and said with a smile, Longao, that's not a problem. I'm just a little doubtful. With our combined strength, can we join forces and send this person into the path of reincarnation? Both of them knew very well that Longmire had the reincarnation Primal Chaos Tablet in his body. It was almost impossible to completely destroy him. The only way was to forcefully send him into the path of reincarnation. In this way, it wouldn't be easy for Longmire to be reborn and devour the reincarnation Primal Chaos Tablet. It would be a lie to say that he wasn't afraid. Longmire's expression changed again. After thinking about it, he decided that a wise man knew better than to fight when the odds were against him. He sneered and said, Longao, Blood Demon, I'll be back in the future. As soon as he finished speaking, Longmire turned and left quickly. In just a short while, his figure had disappeared without a trace. Neither Longao nor the Blood Demon gave chase. They were very clear about the current situation. If they really fought, they might not be able to send Long Mye into the path of reincarnation. It could be said that both sides were very afraid of each other. No one was willing to make a move unless there was no other choice. Blood Demon, thank you very much. There were no eternal enemies in this world, and similarly, there were no eternal friends. Chapter 2346. Blood Demon smiled. Looking at the departing Dragon Destroyer, he said, Longao, you have to be careful of Dragon Destroyer. He's very sinister. At this point, the Blood Devil did not continue speaking, but the meaning of his words was very clear. Longao knew exactly what Dragon Destroyer meant. He nodded. I'll be careful. Longao, I have other matters to attend to, so I'll take my leave. As soon as he finished speaking, Blood Demon's figure disappeared. The situation was full of twists and turns. Longao shrugged helplessly. With the collapse of the Primal Chaos Plane, of the 12 Primal Chaos Tablets, apart from his own, the other 11 were scattered everywhere. The only thing they could do now was to spread the news as much as possible. Longao was well aware that he had obtained 2 Chaos Stone Tablets. One of the Chaos Stone Tablets had already left on its own. There were many people who could testify to this. But what about the other one? No one could testify to this. So he had to think of a way to spread the news that the other Primal Chaos Tablet had left on its own. He had to do it. The longer he delayed, the worse it would be for him. As soon as he returned to the Soaring Dragon Empire, Longao immediately spread the news that there were several rulers of the universe protecting him. Most likely, no one would doubt this news. The Second Starry Sky Empire. After Lin Han and Wang Dao had fallen out in the Primal Chaos Plane, the Second Starry Sky Empire's power had been greatly reduced. But even so, the Third Starry Sky Empire, including the 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th Starry Sky Empires didn't dare to act rashly. Although Lin Han and Wang Dao had fallen out, the Second Starry Sky Empire's power was still there. As the saying goes, a starving camel is still bigger than a horse. If he wanted to deal with the Second Starry Sky Empire, even if he had the power, he had to see if he could withstand the loss of both sides. Because of this, the remaining Starry Sky Empires didn't dare to act rashly. They wanted to see how things would develop. Lin Han and Wang Dao had fallen out. They might even fight. If that was the case, there was no need for outsiders to intervene. The Second Starry Sky Empire might collapse on its own. If that was the case, not only would the Second Starry Sky Empire be replaced, it might even be completely destroyed. Actually, among all the Starry Sky Empires, the most covetous Starry Sky Empires were not the Third, Fourth, or even the Starry Sky Empires. The biggest threat to the Second Cosmic Empire was the First Cosmic Empire. The 3 Starry Sky Eagles had been eyeing the Second Starry Sky Empire covetously, wanting to completely devour it. This was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Lin Han and Wang Dao had fallen out because of the Primal Chaos Stone Tablet. To the two of them, they were filled with extreme regret. If he could obtain the Primal Chaos Stone Tablet, then so be it. But now, neither Lin Han nor Wang Dao had obtained a Primal Chaos Stone. This was the most painful part for both of them. Not far from the Second Starry Sky Empire. There was no one around, everyone was dispersed by the 2 Pinnacle Universe Undyings, and a table and 2 chairs appeared out of nowhere. Brother Lin, have we been played? Brother Wang, you and I have gone through countless trials and tribulations together. Together, we have supported the Second Cosmic Empire. But in the end, for the sake of the Primal Chaos Tablet, you and I have fallen out. It really is not worth it. Until now, Lin Han and Wang Dao were filled with regret to the extreme. They didn't continue speaking. The two of them looked at each other, everything was understood without words. A smile dispelled all enmity. Just as the two of them were about to reorganize the Second Starry Sky Empire, Longao's figure suddenly appeared. Longao was very clear that all the space rulers were refining the Primal Chaos Tablets. In a short period of time, he and the space rulers wouldn't be in a life-and-death situation. Thinking about that, Longao was prepared to first deal with the 9 great universe empires. Even if he didn't destroy them, He wanted to lead the soaring dragon empire to become one of the 10 great universe empires and dominate the vast universe. Longao. The two of them already knew that Longao had obtained a total of 2 primal chaos stone tablets. Although Longao had said that the primal chaos stone tablets in his body had left on their own, no one believed him. The two of them didn't believe him either. The two of them looked at Longao, who suddenly appeared in front of them. They never thought that under such circumstances, Longao would still dare to appear. Was Longao really not afraid of death? Was he fearless? If it was the Longao of the past, the two of them naturally wouldn't put him in their eyes. Only now, the situation was completely different, completely different. The reappearance of the 12 space rulers in the vast universe was already set in stone. And the most shocking thing was that Longao had a space ruler behind him. What kind of concept was that? It would be a lie to say that they weren't afraid. The two of them definitely weren't afraid of Longao, but of the space ruler behind Longao. Even though a peak space immortal was a pinnacle existence in the vast universe, in front of a space ruler, they weren't even worth a fart. The two of you, long time no see. How have you been? Please have a seat. The two of them didn't immediately make a move. With the space ruler behind them, unless they were tired of living, they wouldn't make a move. Longao, what business do you have with us this time? The two of them were very curious because they and Longao were like fire and water. Even if one of them didn't die, it wouldn't be too much. In that case, why had Longao come? The two of them couldn't figure it out. If Longao had a space ruler behind him, he could easily dominate the vast universe. But in the end, Longao kept retreating and didn't have the strength to dominate the vast universe. This was very unusual. The two of them could almost guess that although Longao had a space ruler behind him, he might not fully support Longao. If that was the case, then Longao wouldn't be so terrifying. The two of you, I won't beat around the bush. This time, I only have one purpose, and that is to cooperate with you. Without giving the two of them any chance to speak, Longao continued, there are no eternal enemies in the world, nor are there eternal friends. You and I may be enemies, but I can tell you clearly that I'm preparing to deal with the #1 Starry Sky Empire and I need your help. When the time comes, we'll divide the empire 50-50. What do the two of you think? So this was what he wanted. The two of them looked very dignified, not knowing what Longao meant. Chapter 2347. The enmity between Longao and the #1 Starry Sky Empire was well known in the vast universe. But what did it have to do with them? The two did not agree, nor did they refuse. Longao, why should we believe you? How could Longao not know the fear in the two people's hearts? The more they feared the divine astral ruler, the more he wanted to use the divine astral ruler's power to intimidate them. I believe you already know that I have the divine astral ruler behind me. I believe I don't need to say more. You know better than me what it means. The divine astral ruler? The divine astral ruler? Of course they knew what the divine astral ruler meant. The divine astral ruler was the most terrifying existence in the vast universe. Even peak starry sky immortals were child's play in front of the divine astral ruler. As long as the divine astral ruler wanted to, he could easily destroy anyone at any time. This was the power of the divine astral ruler. It would be a lie to say they were not afraid. Longao, you and I are both smart people. If you have something to say, just say it. Longao smiled. Great. Like I said, in this world, there are no eternal friends, and no eternal enemies. We may not have been on good terms before, but it doesn't matter. When we work together to deal with the #1 Starry Sky Empire and divide it 50-50, you will see my sincerity. Sincerity? Bullshit sincerity. If the two chose to believe Longao, they would be fools. If it was just Longao alone, the two would have ignored him even if they did not take action. But now that Longao had the divine astral ruler behind him, they had to reconsider the matter. Longao, do you mean that if we work together to deal with the #1 Starry Sky Empire, the divine astral ruler will take action? If that was the case, the two did not even need to think about it. They would agree without a doubt. With the divine astral ruler's power, destroying the number 1 Starry Sky Empire was a matter of minutes. Once the divine astral ruler took action, not to mention the number 1 Starry Sky Empire, even if all the other Starry Sky Empires worked together, they would not be a match for the divine astral ruler. Longao shook his head. The divine astral ruler will not take action. They were disappointed. However, the more curious the two of them became, the more they wondered what Longao was up to. Longao, aren't you overestimating yourself a little? As soon as Lin Han finished speaking, Wang Dao continued, Longao, I believe we don't need to talk about the strength and resources of the first Starry Sky Empire. Do you think that even if we join forces, we can fight against the first Starry Sky Empire? 3 Peak Starry Sky Immortals. When the 3 Starry Skies Eagles joined forces, it wasn't as simple as 1 + 1 + 1 = 3. Rather, it was several times more powerful. If the 3 Starry Sky Eagles and the first Starry Sky Empire were not strong, they would not have been able to stand in the vast starry sky for so many years. They did not have the divine astral ruler Empire. Starry Sky Empire the Starry, Immortals they Sky Immortals she. With divine Sky Astral Immortal Sky Empire. The two of them did not make it clear either. They just hoped that Longao could back off. How could Longao not know what the two people meant? He laughed coldly. However, Longao wasn't angry at all. Because it was understandable. Anyone would do the same. Lin Han and Wang Dao were no exception. Borrowing someone else's knife to kill. Longao's meaning was clear. Just relying on his and the Empire's power, it was impossible to destroy the number 1 or 2 Starry Sky Empire. Unless someone in the Empire could completely refine the Primal Chaos Tablet and become a Starry Sky ruler. However, to refine the tablet and become a Starry Sky ruler was easier said than done. It wasn't something that could be done in a day. Indeed. Longao thought of this. Longao had to choose between the first and second cosmic empires. In the end, he chose the second cosmic empire and gave up on the first cosmic empire. The reason was simple. The 3 Starry Sky Eagles were more cunning than Lin Han and Wang Dao. They might not agree to work with him against the second Starry Sky Empire. However, Longao had full confidence in the second Starry Sky Empire. As long as he mentioned the Starry Sky ruler, he believed that the 2 pinnacle Starry Sky rulers of the second Starry Sky Empire would agree to work with him against the first Starry Sky Empire. Actually, Longao was betting on whether or not the two would agree. Since I dared to come to you too, that means I have full confidence in dealing with the first Starry Sky Empire. Isn't it just 3 pinnacle Starry Sky Immortals? How about this, you and I work together. I'll take the lead. When the time comes, I'll take 80% of the first Starry Sky Empire and you two will take 20%. How about it? Longao was really that confident. The more confident Longao appeared, the more the two couldn't be sure whether Longao was faking it or not. If the divine Starry Sky ruler wasn't present, the two certainly wouldn't have believed Longao. After all, the strength of the 3 Starry Sky Eagles didn't need to be mentioned. If they were more skilled, then they wouldn't have waited this long. The second Starry Sky Empire was still being suppressed by the first Starry Sky Empire. It would be a lie to say that they didn't want to destroy the first Starry Sky Empire and become the strongest overlord of the vast universe. For so many years, the two of them had dreamed of conquering the first Starry Sky Empire and replacing it with the second Starry Sky Empire and becoming the new first Starry Sky Empire. However, after so many years, the second Starry Sky Empire still couldn't suppress the first Starry Sky Empire. Should they believe Longao? Lin Han and Wang Dao looked at each other. At this time, Lin Han said, Longao, give the two of us 3 days. Whether we agree or not, we will inform you after 3 days. How about it? No problem. It would be strange if the two of them immediately agreed to such a big matter. The more they acted like this, the more relieved Longao was. He turned around and quickly left. After a while, Longao's figure disappeared without a trace. Looking at Longao's disappearing figure, both Lin Han and Wang Dao's expression became very dignified. The two of them knew very well what it would mean if they agreed, and what it would mean if they didn't. According to their previous choice, after the incident in the Chaos Plane, they didn't intend to continue to provoke Longao. As the saying goes, it's better to believe in something than not. If Longao really had the godly Starry Sky Ruler behind him, then provoking Longao would mean provoking the godly Starry Sky Ruler. If that was the case, then things would become very troublesome. Chapter 2348. Brother Lin, what do you think? Lin Han thought for a moment and said, Longao obviously wants to kill us with a borrowed knife. But we can beat him at his own game. How do we beat him at his own game? The two of them muttered something. Longao, who had returned to the Soaring Dragon Empire, walked straight into the main hall. Although Long Ying had swallowed the Wind and Cloud Chaos Tablet, he didn't go into seclusion like the others. No matter what, Long Ying was the emperor of the Soaring Dragon Empire. If he went into seclusion casually, everyone would know what was going on. To deceive others. Longao knew that if his big brother also went into seclusion, it would attract the attention of others. Under such circumstances, it was better to save some trouble. Seventh brother, what did Lin Han and Wang Dao say? This was Long Ying's idea. She wanted to borrow the power of the Second Starry Sky Empire to deal with the First Starry Sky Empire. She wanted to borrow a knife to kill the First Starry Sky Empire and then reap the benefits. Longao didn't hide anything from his big brother. He told him everything that had happened. After listening, Long Ying lowered his head in silence. Longao didn't say anything either. Just like that. The entire main hall was silent. Long Ying didn't say anything. Longao didn't say anything either. Time ticked by. After some time, Long Ying suddenly raised his head and smiled. Seventh brother, I can almost say that Lin Han and Wang Dao will agree to our alliance. Huh? Longao was surprised. He didn't know why his big brother was so confident. Because even he wasn't sure if Lin Han and Wang Dao would agree to join forces to deal with the First Cosmic Empire. Big brother, why are you so confident? Long Ying knew what his seventh brother was thinking. He smiled confidently and said, Seventh brother, I've already investigated Lin Han and Wang Dao's personalities. Especially now, the vast universe thinks that you have a cosmic ruler behind you. So, the two of them will definitely agree to join forces with us to deal with the First Cosmic Empire. So that's how it is. If that's the case, then Lin Han and Wang Dao will definitely agree. But at this time, Long Ying's face became serious again. Big brother, what's wrong? Longao could clearly sense that something seemed to have happened to his big brother in front of him. What was going on? Seventh brother, although I am certain that Lin Han and Wang Dao will help us deal with the First Starry Sky Empire, they will not completely trust us. If nothing unexpected happens, the two of them will beat us at our own game. Long Ying was very suitable to be the ruler of a country. Long Ying's strategy was truly formidable and formidable. Longao had also thought of this. It would be strange if the two of them wholeheartedly helped him deal with the number one Starry Sky Empire. Beat them at their own game? Longao couldn't figure out what Lin Han and Wang Dao wanted to do. Longao couldn't figure it out, and neither could Long Ying. Both of them were very clear that if they didn't understand this matter, then they couldn't just casually make a move. If they were to start a war with the First Starry Sky Empire, then the Second Starry Sky Empire would try to beat them at their own game. Seventh brother, what are you going to do? Counter soldiers with arms, water with an earth weir. Big brother, when the time comes, we will split into two. I will join forces with the two of them to deal with the First Cosmic Empire, while Big brother will flank the Second Cosmic Empire from behind. Ah! Hearing seventh brother's words, Long Ying was very shocked because he understood what seventh brother meant. He never thought that seventh brother didn't only want to deal with the First Starry Sky Empire, but also wanted to deal with the Second Starry Sky Empire. Did the empire have such strength? As the emperor of the Soaring Dragon Empire, Long Ying was very clear about the strength of the empire. Not to mention 1 versus 2, dealing with the First and Second Starry Sky Empire together, even casually dealing with one of the 9 great Starry Sky Empires would be a big problem. Long Ying didn't know what seventh brother was thinking. Was he a bit too reckless this time? Seventh brother, I believe you know a thing or two about the Empire's situation. If we rashly go all out to deal with the two starry sky empires, I'm afraid we will go for wool and come home shorn. How could Longao not know about his big brother's worries? After thinking about it, Longao said, Big brother, you know that there are tigers on the mountain, but you still want to go there. The first Starry Sky Empire and second Starry Sky Empire are only afraid of the Starry Sky Dominator behind me. They don't put us in their eyes. This is for the best. We can take advantage of this opportunity to catch them off guard. Catch them off guard? Catching them off guard required great strength. Even if the Soaring Dragon Empire was developing very fast, whether it was the first Starry Sky Empire or the second Starry Sky Empire, their strength and heritage were all there. It was almost impossible to shake the first Starry Sky Empire and second Starry Sky Empire. This time, joining hands with the second Starry Sky Empire to shake the first Starry Sky Empire was unknown. Long Ying was very clear about how serious the current situation was. If they took a wrong step, the Empire would really fall into eternal damnation. One wrong step would lead to many wrong steps. Big brother, listen to me. I know that there is still a big gap between us and the first Starry Sky Empire and the other 8 great Starry Sky Empires, but we don't have much time. When the other Starry Sky Dominators recover their peak strength, they will certainly control their own Starry Sky Empires. If that happens, it will not be so easy for us to intervene and deal with the other Starry Sky Empires. Long Ying and Longao were worried about different things. Long Ying was worried about the strength of the 9 great Starry Sky Empires and whether their empire could contend against them. Longao was worried about the 9 great Starry Sky Empires and the Clairvoyant Master. For some reason, Longao had a feeling that once the 9 great Starry Sky Empires regained their Starry Sky Dominators, they would certainly control the Starry Sky Empires. Without a doubt, once the 9 great Starry Sky Empires gained control, they would certainly deal with him first. Because of this, Longao was very afraid of the 9 great Starry Sky Empires. Because although he had the 12 Chaos Stone Tablets, Xiling and Longqiong, except for Xiling, the others were devouring the Chaos Stone Tablets for the first time. Their experience was definitely not enough. Refining the Chaos Stone Tablets to become a Starry Sky Dominator would not be an easy task. The 9 great Starry Sky Empires' refining speed would certainly be faster than his family. Therefore, Longao wanted to destroy the 9 great Starry Sky Empires first, not giving the 9 great Starry Sky Empires any chance. This way, as long as he could get the help of the Clairvoyant Master, his empire could develop. If all 14 great Starry Sky Empires refined the Chaos Stone Tablets and became Starry Sky Dominators, they could ignore everyone, including the Clairvoyant Master. Chapter 2349. Finally, Long Ying agreed with Longao's idea to deal with both the first and second universe empires at the same time. Long Ying knew her 7th brother's character. Without full confidence, he wouldn't casually make a move. After all, he had the whole family behind him. If they failed this time, the empire's life would be at stake. Longao and Long Ying both prepared. 3 days later. In the vast space, there was still no one around. You two agreed. Longao laughed coldly inside. He had already guessed that both Lin Han and Wang Dao would agree to work together against the First Universe Empire. Lin Han laughed. Looking at Wang Dao, he said, Longao, we're both smart people. There's no need to beat around the bush. We have no objections to your suggestion. However, we'll split it like before. After we deal with the First Universe Empire, we'll split it 50-50ths. How about that? I have no problem with that. Without even thinking about it, Longao directly agreed. In an instant, both sides had already made a deal to deal with the First Universe Empire together. Both sides didn't make a move immediately, because Longao and the other 2 Pinnacle Universe Immortals weren't fully confident. They had to seize this rare opportunity to make a move. When the time came, they had to succeed in one hit. Soaring Dragon Empire. In the forbidden area of the back mountain, there was a single courtyard with an elegant environment. Longao sat quietly with Aoshue, sunbathing in the courtyard. During this time, Longao was prepared to spend some time with Aoshue, because out of the 4 girls, only Aoshue was pregnant, and the other 3 insisted on Longao coming. "Brother Long, it's been so many years, are you tired?" Looking at Longao sitting beside her, Aoshue felt her heart ache, because ever since she met Longao, her lover had never stopped, not even for a minute. Longao laughed. "Some things have to be done." Seemingly not wanting to dwell on this issue, Longao asked, "Aoshue, how are you feeling?" Aoshue wasn't a fool. Of course, she knew that Longao didn't want to dwell on this issue. He sighed deeply in his heart. Aoshue was a very understanding woman. Since Longao didn't want to talk about this issue, she didn't continue to ask. "I don't know either." Aoshue was also helpless at the thought of the child in her belly. Just as Longao was about to speak, a voice suddenly rang out. His expression suddenly changed. "Brother Long, what's wrong?" "Wait for me here." Longao's face was very gloomy. He took a step forward and appeared outside the soaring dragon realm. "3 starry sky eagles, I think you must be tired of living. You actually dared to come here." The 3 that had just descended were none other than the pillars of the #1 universe empire, the 3 pinnacle universe undyings, the 3 space eagles. Originally, they came with a strong momentum, but what happened in the end? Before the 3 of them could even open their mouths, Longao had already made a show of strength. The more he acted like this, the more uncertain the 3 of them felt. Could it be that the divine divination starry sky ruler behind Longao really was Longao's backer? It would be a lie to say that they weren't afraid. Because the 3 of them knew very well that as long as the star ruler took action, the 3 of them wouldn't be enough. Their expressions changed again and again, becoming very gloomy. "Longao, we came this time not to make things difficult for you, but to cooperate with you." Cooperation? What did this mean? Longao was very curious. Just now, he clearly felt the murderous aura released from the 3 of them. If it weren't for the star ruler behind them, he believed that the 3 of them would have already dealt with him. Why would they talk about cooperation? Could it be that the 3 of them wanted to join forces with him to deal with the #2 universe empire? Sure enough. Just as Longao guessed. Sky Eagle said with a smile, "Longao, you should understand what I mean. For so many years, the Second Universe Empire has been biting us, and I don't need to say more about the grudge between you and the Second Universe Empire. So, I hope that we can join forces to deal with the Second Universe Empire. I don't know what you think." Sure enough, they wanted to join forces. Longao sneered because he knew very well that if it weren't for the fact that the 3 of them were afraid of the star ruler behind him, even if the star ruler didn't exist, the 3 of them would still be afraid. It was good that they were afraid, otherwise, the 3 of them wouldn't have come to join forces, but to attack him directly. Taking a step back, he had to admit that the 3 of them were really old foxes. "No problem, that's what I think." Longao directly agreed. "In that case, why don't we find a place and have a good discussion about how to join forces to deal with the Second Universe Empire?" "No problem." Longao and the 3 Sky Eagles didn't enter the soaring dragon empire, but found an intermediate plane. After a few hours of discussion, the 2 sides reached an agreement. Longao, the First Universe Empire and the Second Universe Empire each had their own ulterior motives and wanted to destroy each other. In this way, the 3 sides weren't sincere in their cooperation. In the end, it was really unknown who would win and who would lose. Soaring Dragon Empire, inside a grand hall. "Seventh brother, you really agreed to join forces with the First Universe Empire?" Longao did not hide much from his elder brother. He told him everything in detail, including the meaning behind it, as well as his own meaning. He told him everything clearly. Long Ying, who was originally very worried, nodded vigorously after hearing the overall plan of his 7th brother, and said with a smile, "Seventh brother, your plan is indeed flawless. When the time comes, the First Universe Empire and the Second Universe Empire will definitely suffer losses, and we can just sit back and reap the benefits." Longao's intention was actually very simple, which was to join forces with the First Universe Empire and the Second Universe Empire. At that time, he would be the bait to lure the 2 empires to attack each other. "Seventh brother, If the two universe empires know about this, we will be in a lot of trouble. Big brother, don't worry about this. The first universe empire and the second universe empire have been fighting for so many years, it's no longer a situation where you die or I die. Otherwise, how could the two sides not know about the agreement I made with them? It's really a joke. Long Ying nodded in agreement. If this was really the case, this was indeed the best time for the empire to rise. As the emperor of the Soaring Dragon Empire, he certainly hoped that the empire could grow quickly and replace them. Seventh brother, I know what you mean. From now on, I will make arrangements. This time, our Soaring Dragon Empire must not lose, we can only win. Long Ying was very clear about what it meant if the empire lost this time. At that time, the entire empire would be completely destroyed, never to rise again. Chapter 2350. Long Ying prepared with all her might. Longao was not too worried. The first and second Starry Sky empires were like fire and water. He believed that they would not expect him to make such a move. A dog biting another dog, and he would reap the benefits. Yu Yin, what's wrong? Longao, who was thinking about how to deal with the first and second Starry Sky empires, was suddenly found by Yu Yin. Her face was solemn. The aura in her body was chaotic. Yu Yin's current state was not good. Longao did not know what had happened to Yu Yin. Brother Long, I don't know what's going on. Ever since I swallowed the ice and fire chaos stone tablet, two types of energy appeared in my body. One is fire attribute energy, and the other is ice attribute energy. That's normal. On this point, Longao naturally knew what was going on. The ice and fire chaos stone tablet naturally had ice and fire attribute energy. I know this is normal. But as I slowly refined the tablet, I found that the two types of energy became more and more chaotic. Sometimes, they even fought in my body. At this point, Yuyin did not continue speaking, but the meaning of her words was very clear. He was startled. Longao was very clear that although Yu Yin said it so simply, it was already very powerful. Otherwise, Yu Yin would not have come to find him so casually. He knew Yu Yin's character too well. He did not speak any more nonsense. Yu Yin, take out the ice and fire chaos stone tablet. Yu Yin nodded and summoned the tablet. It was the so-called ice and fire chaos stone tablet. Longao's face gradually turned solemn because he could clearly sense that there was definitely a problem with the ice and fire primal chaos stone tablet that was floating in front of him. Otherwise, the two forces within the primal chaos stone tablet would not start a war with each other. What was going on? Yu Yin did not speak. She just quietly stood by the side and watched. Follow me. Longao brought Yu Yin and the tablet and disappeared from the spot. He instantly entered the Chaos Palace. Within the Chaos Palace, Longao was very clear in his heart. He had no way of controlling the tablet, let alone dealing with the ice and fire attribute energy. The only way was to rely on the neutral tablet in front of him. Although he didn't know what grade his attributeless Chaos Stone tablet was, Lin Ju was almost certain that his attributeless Chaos Stone tablet was most likely a high-grade Chaos Stone tablet. A non-elemental primal chaos tablet could suppress any other primal chaos tablet. Longao's meaning was very simple. That was to use the non-elemental primal chaos stone tablet to figure out what was going on with the two elemental energies within the ice and fire primal chaos stone tablet. If he did not sense it, he would not know. Longao would never have thought that this would be the reason why the two powers within the ice and fire chaos stone tablet were attacking each other. Yu Yin, I made a mistake. What's wrong? Yu Yin was very curious. She did not know what was going on. Yuyin, your physique is very special. It belongs to the darkness physique category. Therefore, among the 12 Chaos Stone tablets, the most suitable one for you is the Darkness Chaos Stone tablet and not the Ice and Fire Chaos Stone tablet. Miscalculation. Longao blamed himself. Because if he had sensed Yu Yin's body type in advance, such a thing would not have happened. Luckily Yu Yin discovered it early. Otherwise, the consequences would be unimaginable. Yu Yin was very clear about the guilt in Longao's heart. She smiled and said, Big brother Long, This matter is not your fault. I don't want this ice and fire primal chaos stone tablet. You can see who can devour it. Yu Yin's attitude was very good. If it was anyone else, how could they give up so easily after obtaining the tablet? However, Yu Yin did not care if she could swallow the tablet. She only cared about one thing. That was her lover. As long as she could be with her lover forever, everything else was nonsense, including the tablet. Yu Yin, I know what to do. Wait for me. Longao's figure disappeared from the Chaos Palace and appeared in a very elegant courtyard. Aoa, you're here. Grandma, how have you been recently? Longao's grandmother was Mu Wanfeng. There were 12 Chaos Stone tablets. Mu Wanfeng had devoured the Dark Chaos Stone tablet, while Yuan had devoured the Ice and Fire Chaos Stone tablet. Very good. Mu Wanfeng's attitude was also very good. Almost everyone who had obtained a Primal Chaos tablet had chosen to go into closed-door training. Only Mu Wanfeng did not go into closed-door training. She just refined the Primal Chaos tablet normally. Aoa, is there something wrong? Mu Wanfeng knew her grandson very well. Grandma, to tell you the truth. Longao did not hide anything. He explained Yu Yin's situation in detail, including the attributes of the Ice and Fire tablet and the Darkness tablet, as well as the problem of her physique. Aoa, there's nothing wrong with your grandma. Mu Wanfeng smiled and summoned the Darkness tablet from her body. Grandma, wait for me. Longao took the Darkness tablet and left, returning to the Chaos Palace. Big brother Long, aren't you doing this a bit? Yuan felt very apologetic because she knew very well what Longao had just done. In order to help her, he had made her grandmother take out the Dark Chaos Stone tablet. Even if she had swallowed the Dark Chaos Stone tablet, she still felt apologetic. How could Longao not know what Yu Yin was thinking? He smiled and said, Yu Yin, you may not believe it, but I just sensed your grandma's physique. It's actually the rare Ice and Fire physique. In other words, the exchange of tablets between you and your grandma is perfect. If you swallow and refine the tablet, it'll be twice the result with half the effort. Regarding this point, Longao indeed did not expect it. He also did not expect his grandma's physique to be the rare Ice and Fire physique. If not, how could he have taken away his grandma's tablet so casually? Hearing this, Yu Yin breathed a sigh of relief. Without any hesitation, she immediately swallowed the Darkness tablet. Just as Longao had guessed, the exchange of tablets between Mu Wanfeng and Yu Yin would indeed be twice the result with half the effort. If not for this, who knew what would have happened to Mu Wanfeng if the two of them had swallowed the tablet for a long time? However, Yu Yin would definitely not have had a good ending. Just thinking about it made him feel scared. For safety's sake, Longao prepared to gather everyone. Anyone who had obtained a tablet would check their tablet. Chapter 2351. After spending an entire day, Longao finally finished inspecting the remaining 10 Primal Chaos Stone tablets. He definitely couldn't let anything happen to anyone. As the saying goes, it's better to be safe than sorry. If something happened, he wouldn't even have the chance to regret it. Ever since he rejected Longao, the more Jian Wudi thought about it, the more he felt that something was amiss. Because from what he knew of Longao wasn't such a person. Why did Longao want him to swear a blood oath to serve the Soaring Dragon Empire forever? Could it be that Longao was really fishy? It was precisely because of this. Jian Wudi directly found Longao and asked straightforwardly, Brother Long, I have something to ask you. In the courtyard. Longao sat quietly and said with a smile, Brother Jian, please ask. How could Longao not know what Jian Wudi wanted to ask? However, Longao didn't point it out. He wanted to say something but hesitated. Brother Jian, if you have something to say, just say it. With our relationship, there's no need to say anything. Jian Wudi was very embarrassed, but for himself, he finally said, Brother Long, you looked for me before. I went back and thought about it. I'm willing to swear a blood oath and never deal with the Soaring Dragon Empire. How about it? As expected. Without the slightest bit of surprise, Longao had already guessed that Gen Wudi came this time because of the previous matter. If Gen Wudi had agreed before, Longao would definitely have handed the Chaos Tablet to Gen Wudi. But now, Longao still treated Gen Wudi as a friend, but it was no longer a friend of life and death. Smiling helplessly, Longao said helplessly, "Brother Gen, if you had agreed before, now, forget it, I won't say any more. But even if you agree now, this matter won't be on your head." Ah! The more Longao acted like this, the more Gen Wudi regretted it. Because he had already guessed that the matter Longao looked for him before was definitely a great thing. Such a rare opportunity, but he chose to give it up. It was impossible to say that he didn't regret it. "Brother Long, I would like to ask, what exactly is that matter?" This was what Gen Wudi wanted to know the most. Speak. Or not. If it had been anything else, Longao would have said it. But the primal chaos stone tablets were something he absolutely could not say. If word of this got out and Master God Diviner came looking for him, he would be in a lot of trouble. No matter what. Those who knew that he had obtained 12 chaos stone tablets were few and far between. As if he could guess what Longao was thinking, Gen Wudi swore a blood oath without hesitation. Longao was shocked, but he laughed inwardly. If he had known this would happen, why would he have rejected him and lost the chance to obtain the primal chaos stone tablet? Since things had already come to this, Longao did not intend to continue hiding it. He told Gen Wudi about the primal chaos stone tablets, but he did not tell Gen Wudi that he had obtained 12 primal chaos stone tablets. Hearing Longao's words, Gen Wudi was completely dumbfounded. Primal chaos stone tablet, of course he knew what it meant. It was the most powerful weapon in the universe. Anyone who could devour a primal chaos stone tablet and completely refine it could become a ruler of the universe. A ruler of the universe, an invincible existence in the vast universe. Even a peak universe immortal was like an ant in front of a ruler of the universe. Gen Wudi did not doubt it at all. Because other than this, he could not understand why Longao would make him swear a blood oath. Regret. He regretted it to the extreme. If he had chosen to swear a blood oath, he could have easily devoured the primal chaos stone tablet and become a ruler of the universe in the future, standing at the peak of the universe. Now, Gen Wudi was so regretful that he could not speak. He wished he could kill himself. Such a rare opportunity, and he had given it up. Gen Wudi finally understood why Longao wanted him to swear a blood oath. In the end, it was because he was afraid that after he devoured the primal chaos stone tablet and became a ruler of the universe, he would go against himself and the soaring dragon empire. But even so, if he could devour the primal chaos stone tablet, he would not have chosen to swear a blood oath. Even if he chose to completely submit, he would not have even thought about it. "Brother Long, I regret it very much. I wonder if I have a chance to get another primal chaos stone tablet." Gen Wudi was almost certain that Longao did not get a single primal chaos stone tablet. Otherwise, why would Longao let him devour a primal chaos stone tablet and not keep it for himself or give it to his family? However, Gen Wudi did not care if Longao had multiple primal chaos stone tablets. As long as he could get a single one, that was enough. Sigh. With a deep sigh, Longao helplessly shook his head and said, "Brother Gen, I do not need to say more. You should know that it was you who chose to give up, and I chose Black Wind." Longao did not hide anything. Since he had already told Gen Wudi about the primal chaos stone tablet, there was no need to hide who had obtained the primal chaos stone tablet. Black Wind obtained the primal chaos stone tablet. Gen Wudi's heart was filled with resentment. However, after thinking about it, this matter was indeed his fault. He could not blame himself. Who asked him to give up on taking the blood oath? However, it was not entirely his fault. If he had to take the blood oath for no reason, forget himself, even if he were to find someone else, they would not agree to it. Yi Ji was an exception. Gen Wudi knew that Yi Ji had chosen to swear a blood oath to repay a debt of gratitude. Otherwise, as a starry sky immortal, Yi Ji would not have agreed. Could it be that Yi Ji also obtained a primal chaos stone tablet? As if he had guessed what Gen Wudi was thinking, Longao nodded and said, "Brother Jen, your guess is correct. Back then, I obtained several primal chaos stone tablets. 2 of them were for you and Yi Ji. However," Longao did not finish speaking, but the meaning behind his words was very clear. Previously, Jen Wudi and Yi Ji could have swallowed the primal chaos stone tablet, but in the end, only Yi Ji could have swallowed the primal chaos stone tablet. Jen Wudi had given up the chance. Jen Wudi finally understood what had happened. He was helpless, resentful, and all sorts of complicated emotions. For a moment, Jen Wudi did not know what to do. This was because Longao had clearly stated that he could not continue swallowing the primal chaos stone tablet. Even if he wanted to, it was impossible because the primal chaos stone tablet that originally belonged to him was given to Black Wind. Even so, Jen Wudi was not willing to give up. He still wanted to fight for it. If it were anything else, Jen Wudi would have given up. Only the primal chaos stone tablet was something he did not want to give up. Chapter 2352. Brother Long, don't tell me I don't even have a chance. Longao wasn't angry at all. No matter what, Jen Wudi had chosen to give up, and as a friend, he had a clear conscience. He shrugged helplessly and said helplessly, "Forgive me for not being able to do anything." Jen Wudi knew Longao's character very well. He was someone who would sacrifice himself for his friends. As long as there was a chance, he believed that Longao would be willing to help him. In the end, Jen Wudi chose to give up. He turned and left. Just as Jen Wudi left, Xiling's figure appeared. "Longao, you told Jen Wudi about this. Aren't you afraid that something unexpected will happen?" How could Longao not know about Xiling's worries? Longao was 100% confident about this. He believed that Jen Wudi had already sworn a blood oath. He definitely wouldn't tell anyone about this unless Jen Wudi chose to die together with him. "I trust him." Since he had already said this, Xiling didn't continue to dwell on this issue. "Xiling, why are you looking for me?" Longao was very curious. He didn't know why Xiling wasn't in closed-door cultivation to refine the Chaos Stone tablet. Why would he suddenly come looking for him? "Longao, there's something I'm sorry about." What did this mean? Longao realized that Xiling was acting very strangely. As for what was wrong, he couldn't put his finger on it. "Xiling, what's going on?" Longao thought about it, but he couldn't think of anything. But he knew Xiling's personality very well. If it wasn't something, Xiling definitely wouldn't be like this. Could it be because of the Chaos Stone tablet? It shouldn't be. What was going on? Xiling hesitated, but in the end he said, "Longao, do you know who spread the news about the Chaos Stone tablet?" "Che Yaman." Before Xiling finished speaking, Longao had already guessed that this matter had something to do with Che Yaman. It wasn't hard to guess. Che Yaman had not been able to obtain the Chaos tablet, so she must have held a grudge in her heart. Even if news of the Chaos tablet spread, it would be reasonable. Xiling nodded in agreement. "As expected. Longao, I won't ask about Che Yaman's matter. You can deal with it on your own. There's no need to ask me." Xiling felt very guilty. Because of this matter, he had almost caused Longao and the Soaring Dragon Empire to fall into eternal damnation. Fortunately, Longao had settled this matter. Otherwise, she wouldn't know what to do. "You should settle it." Longao knew very well that no matter what, Che Yaman was still Xiling's disciple. If he were to deal with her personally, it wouldn't be right. The matter had already been settled and Longao did not want to ruin the friendship between him and Xiling for a mere Che Yaman. Che Yaman was not worth it. "I know what to do." Xiling's expression was very calm. He turned around and disappeared without a trace in the blink of an eye. With a heavy sigh, Longao looked at the void in front of him helplessly. This matter was indeed a little troublesome. Outside the Soaring Dragon realm, Che Yaman had spread the news of the Chaos Tablet. She didn't know if it was because she had a guilty conscience, but Che Yaman still felt that this matter was not good. If she continued to stay, her master and Longao would find out sooner or later. It would be a lie to say that she didn't have any regrets. Previously, she had leaked the Chaos Tablet in a moment of desperation. If it was now, Che Yaman would definitely not have done so. Until now, Che Yaman was a little regretful. If she could have immediately made a blood oath, then the Chaos Tablet would definitely have been hers. There was no doubt about it. In the end, it was still her fault. Just as Che Yaman was about to leave, Xilin's figure suddenly appeared and stopped her. "Master!" Looking at her master who had suddenly appeared in front of her, Che Yaman was completely shocked. Because she had already guessed that this would be the result. However, when she saw her master in person, she was still a little shocked to the extreme. Guilty conscience. Che Yaman was very clear about the consequences if her matter was leaked. Even if her master was willing to forgive her, it didn't mean that Longao would forgive her. However, it was because of her leak of the news that Longao and the Soaring Dragon Empire were almost destroyed. "Yaman, are you preparing to leave?" "Master, waving his hand, Xiling stopped Che Yaman from speaking. He sighed and said, "Longao and I gave you a chance. It was you who didn't grasp it. Instead, you resented Longao. You have really disappointed me. Even if you didn't get the Chaos Tablet, your future achievements can definitely reach the limit of Starry Sky Immortal Realm with the Empire." At this point, Xiling didn't continue speaking. However, the meaning of his words was very clear. Not to mention that she had Xiling's help, just because of the Soaring Dragon Empire, no one would dare to touch Che Yaman. However, it was a little too late to talk about this now. "Master, actually, this is all your fault. If you had told me earlier that I could get the Chaos Tablet, I would have definitely agreed without hesitation. Master, you just had to play games with me and make me lose the chance to devour the Chaos Tablet. If it was in the past, Che Yaman wouldn't have dared to do this even if she had 10,000 guts. However, she didn't know if it was because she didn't devour the Chaos Tablet, but Che Yaman had completely gone crazy. She didn't care who this so-called master in front of her was. Xiling wasn't angry at all. He only nodded regretfully, but more than that, he was disappointed. If Che Yaman was repentant, perhaps he would have given Che Yaman a chance. This was because Xiling knew very well that as long as he asked, Longao would definitely give him face. But now, Xiling had chosen to give up. However, it was a little difficult for him to do it personally. This was because from the beginning, he was prepared to nurture Che Yaman properly. Otherwise, he wouldn't have gone to Longao to ask for the Chaos Tablet for Che Yaman. It was just that Che Yaman didn't take advantage of it in the end. At this moment, Longao's figure appeared. "Xiling, I will respect your choice." It was still the same words. Longao wouldn't create a rift between him and Xiling for a traitor like Che Yaman. In the end, Che Yaman didn't have the right to do so. "Ian, since you know what I'm thinking, why ask so much?" Che Yaman obviously knew what the two of them meant. It seemed like she was dead for sure this time. Was it worth it for a Chaos Tablet? Definitely not. If she had devoured the Chaos Tablet, then she would have died. But now, she hadn't even seen what the Chaos Tablet looked like. The more Che Yaman thought about it, the angrier she became. She didn't blame herself anymore. Instead, she blamed everything on the two of them. "Che Yaman, do you know your mistake? What did Longao mean by this?" Chapter 2353. Che Yaman was very curious. She didn't know what Longao meant by this. From Che Yaman's point of view, Longao and her master definitely wouldn't let her go. "You don't know your wrongs." Hearing this, Longao's face became more and more gloomy and ugly. "Master Long, I respect you very much. All these years, I've never respected anyone, including my master." Xiling didn't say anything. Longao didn't say anything either. "Master Long, it wasn't that I didn't want to take the blood oath. It was because I didn't want to be bound. I hope you and my master can give me a chance. Let me devour the primal Chaos Tablet. I can take the blood oath and serve you for all eternity." He found an excuse for his shamelessness. Xiling couldn't listen any longer. He turned and left. He forcefully stopped Che Yaman. Go! Before Che Yaman could react, Longao lightly swiped at her. As a citizen of Soaring Dragon Empire, Che Yaman wasn't as ignorant as before. She knew what Longao's move meant. Shattering space. In front of a space crack, she couldn't resist at all. Che Yaman didn't even finish her sentence before she was submerged in the terrifying space crack. She disappeared without a trace. With Longao's current powerful strength, wanting to destroy Che Yaman was simply a matter of minutes. On a lone peak. Xiling sighed, but more than that, she felt helpless. She had high hopes for Che Yaman. Even if she couldn't devour the Primal Chaos Tablet and become a ruler of space, with her help, she could definitely become a peak space immortal. She could be considered to be standing at the peak of the martial path. Done. Longao, who had suddenly descended, looked at Xiling, who was standing against the wind, and sighed deeply in his heart. Longao, from Yaman's matter, I deeply understood a principle. No matter how strong a person's talent is, it's all nonsense. Character is too important. Of course, Longao knew what Xiling meant. He didn't say anything because he didn't know what to say at this moment. Longao, because Che Yaman revealed the matter of the Primal Chaos Stone Tablet, although you can hide it for a while, you can't hide it forever. He nodded in agreement. Thinking of this, Longao's expression turned serious. This matter could not be hidden forever. Right now, there was only one thing to consider, and that was to think of a way. If news of the Primal Chaos Stone Tablet leaked out, how should he deal with it? The other rulers of the starry sky were able to deal with them, but Master God Diviner wasn't. But you have to know. The Primal Chaos Tablet that Master God Diviner possessed was a high-grade Primal Chaos Tablet. Even if Master God Diviner couldn't truly control the power within the Primal Chaos Tablet, it would be very difficult for him to deal with Master God Diviner. Seeing that Longao wasn't speaking, Xiling said, Longao, the most important thing right now is for anyone who obtains a Primal Chaos Tablet to refine it. As long as someone in our empire becomes a ruler of space, then we'll be safe. How could Longao not know this? Although the 12 of them had already successfully swallowed the Primal Chaos Tablet, to refine it and become a ruler of space wasn't an easy task. He let out a deep sigh. Xiling, of the 12 of us, including you and Long Qiong, there are 14 Primal Chaos Tablets. You have the highest chance of becoming a ruler of space, and the fastest. This was Xiling's second time refining a Primal Chaos Tablet. It was completely different from the others. If one were to ask who would be the fastest to refine a Primal Chaos Tablet and become a ruler of space, it would be Xiling, without question. If Xiling could become a ruler of space and take over the Soaring Dragon Empire, not to mention the others, even Master God Diviner would have to be wary of him. He wouldn't dare act rashly against the Soaring Dragon Empire. Although Master God Diviner possessed a high-grade Primal Chaos Tablet, he hadn't truly mastered the power within it. In this way, whether it was a low-grade Primal Chaos Tablet, a mid-grade Primal Chaos Tablet, or a high-grade Primal Chaos Tablet, as long as one didn't fully master the power within the Primal Chaos Tablet, there wouldn't be much of a difference in power. If there was a huge difference, some rulers of space would have been destroyed long ago. Long Qiong, I know what you mean. But perhaps you don't know this, but to refine a Primal Chaos Tablet a second time is a bit difficult. Although it's faster than the others, it's not that much faster. Without waiting for Long Qiong to speak, Xiling continued, Long Qiong, I know what you're worried about. You can borrow the power of your non-elemental Primal Chaos Tablet to help us. What does that mean? Long Qiong was very curious. He didn't know what Xiling meant. Long Qiong, the non-elemental Primal Chaos Tablet you possess is most likely a high-grade Primal Chaos Tablet, and it has great power. Previously, when I entered your Primal Chaos Palace, I could clearly sense that when I cultivated near the non-elemental Primal Chaos Tablet, the speed of refining the Sword Intent Tablet increased by 3 times. Ah! Long Qiong finally understood what Xiling meant. He knew very well what it meant to increase the speed of refining a Primal Chaos Tablet by 3 times. In other words, before, Xiling had needed 300 years to refine a Primal Chaos Tablet, but if he cultivated near his non-elemental Primal Chaos Tablet, he would only need 100 years. What kind of concept was that? Long Chong, I believe you understand what I mean. Nodding, Long Chong said, if that's the case, then that's for the best. But Xiling, perhaps you don't know this, but my primal chaos palace has a limit. I can't truly control it, so no matter who it is, they can't stay in there for more than 3 months. If they exceed that time, they'll be attacked by the primal chaos palace, and no one can stop them. This was what Longao was most afraid of. Until now, he still had not figured out how to avoid this. If everyone could enter the primal chaos palace, he would be able to ignore everyone, including Master God Diviner and all the other rulers of the starry sky. Long Chong was very confident in his primal chaos palace. Not to mention others, even Master God Diviner couldn't lock onto his primal chaos palace. Unfortunately, he still couldn't control the primal chaos palace. It was a very depressing matter. Xiling smiled and said confidently, Long Chong, I've already thought about this. Although no one can stay in your primal chaos palace for more than 3 months, they can leave within 3 months and enter again a day later. This way, everyone can stay in the primal chaos palace for a long time. Long Chong instantly understood what Xiling meant. If that was really the case, then it was indeed a super good idea. Chapter 2354. Everyone entered the Chaos Palace. Longao didn't hide anything and told everyone his thoughts. Just like that. 14 people, including Long Chong and Xiling, entered the Chaos Palace. They sat around the neutral Chaos Tablet and began to cultivate in seclusion. Longao's only hope was that one of the 14 people would be able to refine the primal Chaos Tablet and become the ruler of space. The 3 eagles, Lin Han and Wang Dao, were urging Longao to make a move. Whether it was the number 1 or number 2 empire, they all hoped to destroy each other and dominate the universe. Everyone knew that even if the 12 rulers of the universe returned, they wouldn't interfere with the universe's affairs. This was something everyone knew. Back then, the 12 rulers of the universe didn't interfere with the universe's affairs either. In the eyes of ordinary people, the rulers of the universe were lofty existences. How could they casually interfere? Longao naturally hoped to see both sides suffer so he could reap the benefits. However, Longao also knew that this had to be done flawlessly. If the 2 sides found out, he would be in big trouble. Perhaps the 2 empires would even join forces with other empires to deal with him. Just as Longao was about to make a move, Shen Tong suddenly appeared. As the indestructible tyrant body ruler of the universe, Shen Tong should be in seclusion to refine the Chaos Tablet and strive to become the ruler of the universe as soon as possible. Longao was very surprised. He didn't know why Shen Tong had suddenly appeared. Despite the previous incident, Longao still treated Shen Tong as a friend. Why are you here? Why are you looking for me? Shen Tong felt very guilty and said embarrassedly, Longao, I was wrong before. I hope you can forgive me. If others saw that the indestructible tyrant body ruler of the universe was treating Longao like this, who knew what they would think? It was simply unimaginable. However, Longao's expression was as if it was only natural. Longao waved his hand nonchalantly and said with a smile, Shen Tong, you and I are friends. I have already forgotten about what happened before. Don't mind it. Upon hearing Longao's words, Shen Tong smiled. Longao, the reason I came to find you this time is because there is a very important matter. What is it? Longao knew Shen Tong's character very well. If it wasn't for an important matter, he believed that Shen Tong wouldn't have come to find him so easily. Longao became more and more curious. He also wanted to know why Shen Tong had come looking for him this time. Shen Tong's expression instantly turned solemn. Longao, in the past, 12 Chaos Stone Steelies appeared in the vast universe, and the 12 of us obtained them at the same time. I believe you should already know about this. He nodded. Not to mention him, he believed that everyone in the vast starry sky was very clear about this matter. Could it be that the matter of Shen Tong coming to find me this time is related to the 12 Chaos Stone Tablets? As expected. That's exactly what I'm talking about. Back then, I was lucky enough to obtain the undying tyrant body Chaos Stone Tablet, and I was lucky enough to successfully refine it and become the ruler of the universe. Longao didn't speak. He just listened quietly. Even now, Longao still didn't know what Shen Tong wanted to say. Sigh. With a deep sigh, Shen Tong continued, back then, my luck was just too good. The place where the 12 Chaos Stone Tablets appeared was where I was cultivating in seclusion. This was also the main reason why I was able to devour the undying tyrant body Chaos Stone Tablet. Hearing Shen Tong's words, Longao was completely stunned. Because he never would have thought of this. If Shen Tong's strength and luck were strong enough, then not to mention obtaining one Chaos Stone Tablet, even obtaining all 12 wouldn't be a problem. Longao knew very well that Shen Tong had only obtained one Chaos Stone Tablet because of luck. Shen Tong, what do you mean? Longao knew that this matter could be big or small. If this matter was leaked, it would definitely shake the entire universe. At that time, both he and Shen Tong would be in big trouble. Longao, besides me, no one else knows about this. After so many years, I haven't told anyone else about this. Then why are you telling me? Longao was very curious. He didn't know why Shen Tong didn't tell anyone else, but chose him. Longao, to be honest, after so many years, I've been to that mysterious place at least a dozen times. Every time, I couldn't even take half a step. I don't trust anyone except you. You don't need to ask why. This is just my intuition. My intuition tells me that you're worthy of my trust. Longao didn't have the slightest doubt. If it were anyone else, they would definitely be suspicious. But Longao's situation was completely different. Because he knew very well that for Shen Tong to tell him this, it meant that he wasn't lying to him. He really couldn't think of a reason why Shen Tong would lie to him. That's why I want to try again this time. I'd like to invite you to come with me. Longao, I won't lie to you. I've always had a feeling that since 12 primal Chaos Stone Tablets could appear in that mysterious place, there might be even more primal Chaos Stone Tablets inside. If you and I can obtain them, we can split them equally. That way, the vast universe will be ours in the future. How about it? One had to admit that Shen Tong's ambition was extremely great. Longao finally understood Shen Tong's intentions. He couldn't refuse such a good thing because he knew very well what it meant to obtain more Chaos Stone Tablets. That's not a problem. But this matter must be kept a secret. It can't be leaked. I understand. We'll leave in 3 days. I still have some things to take care of. Of course, Shen Tong wouldn't have any problems. Because of the sudden appearance of this matter, Longao was prepared to put aside the matter of the First and Second Cosmic Empires. When the First and Second Cosmic Empires received the news at the same time, they were very curious. They didn't know what Longao meant. Why would he give up temporarily for no reason? Could it be that something unexpected had happened? The First and Second Cosmic Empires didn't know that Longao was using them. It was because of this that Longao boldly chose to leave. Not only that, but he also summoned everyone from the Chaos Palace. Because he didn't know what would happen this time, if something unexpected happened, it wouldn't be a complete wipeout. So no matter who asked Longao, the answer was no comment. Everyone was very clear about Longao's character and didn't continue asking. Chapter 2355. Shen Tong, what is this mysterious place you speak of? Longao also knew that the place the God Diviner was guarding was a mysterious place in the primal chaos. The place the God Diviner was guarding was the outer sea of the Martial Heaven continent. That was why the God Diviner was so stubbornly guarding a middle-tier plane. Come with me. Longao and Shen Tong were extremely fast. Even without using a teleportation formation, they weren't something ordinary people could compare to. Roughly a few hours later, Longao and Shen Tong arrived at a desolate place. There wasn't a single plane around them. It was very strange. Shen Tong, this is the place you spoke of? Yes, it's here. Longao was startled. The reason for that was because before him was a black stele. It was extremely large, and from a glance, it was very shocking. Longao, go ahead. Don't approach it. Not only is the seal powerful, but it also has the power to counterattack. If I hadn't refined the primal chaos stone tablet and become the ruler of the starry sky, I would have been annihilated by it. He nodded. There was no need for Shen Tong to say anything. Longao already knew. Although this black tablet wasn't a primal chaos stone tablet, it was still very powerful. Even he could sense its terrifying power. If he approached it, he would definitely be annihilated. There was no doubt about it. Longao, look. Without waiting for Longao to speak, the black stone tablet in front of him had already slowly disappeared. What was going on? Shen Tong, what's going on? The black tablet is like this. I don't know why either. Longao tried to sense the empty space in front of him to see if he could break the seal here. This was because he knew very well that if he could break the seal and obtain the primal chaos stone tablet inside, his power would become stronger and stronger. According to Shen Tong, the spring in front of him was the 12 primal chaos stone tablets that had appeared. If that was the case, then perhaps there were other primal chaos stone tablets inside. Although the chances were small, Longao wanted to try. It was still the same sentence. The temptation of the primal chaos stone tablet was simply too great. Even Longao was unable to resist it. In the end, Longao was simply unable to break the seal, because every time his aura approached, he would be countered by an extremely terrifying force. This power was so frightening that Longao had a feeling that even the starry sky ruler wouldn't be able to resist it. If that wasn't the case, why was Shen Tong unable to break the seal when he became the ruler of the starry skies? If he hadn't seen it with his own eyes, he would have found it hard to believe. There was actually such a place in the vast starry sky. Longao, I believe that you have also sensed the seal here. Do you have any ideas? It would be a lie to say that he didn't have any selfish motives. The other 11 people were all starry sky rulers. If he had brought these starry sky rulers with him, it would have been hard to say if he would have been able to split the primal chaos tablets evenly. That was especially true when working with Master God Diviner. If he didn't, he wouldn't know when he would be consigned to eternal damnation. As for Longao, first, he truly treated Longao as a friend. This was because he was well aware of Longao's character. Although he was vicious and murderous, Longao was very kind to his friends. Second, although Longao's talent was great, he hadn't obtained a primal chaos tablet. In the end, he wasn't a starry sky ruler. This way, even if there were any variables in the future, he could still control them. However, what Shen Tong didn't know was that Longao had already devoured a primal chaos tablet. If Shen Tong found out, it was unknown whether he would reveal this secret. If it had been anything else, it wouldn't have mattered. However, this was the case. Longao looked at everything in front of him with a grave expression. He had just used his elemental primal chaos tablet, but had also been unable to break the seal. In this case, neither he nor Shen Tong could do anything. Shen Tong, I have something that I don't know if I should say. Please speak. Longao thought for a moment, then finally said, Shen Tong, I know what you mean. You don't want to reveal this to anyone. However, have you considered that even if we keep this secret, if we can't break the seal, it will be for nothing? Shen Tong didn't speak, because he understood Longao's meaning. Even so, Shen Tong was still a little unwilling. He was the one who had discovered this place first, but now he had to reveal it. It was a pain in the ass. However, Shen Tong wasn't a stubborn old man. Of course he knew what Longao's words meant. If that was really the case, the two of them would continue to guard this place. He had no objections. Longao, are you saying that I should gather all the starry sky rulers? That's right. We should gather everyone's strength. However, before that, we can have the oracle swear a blood oath. That way, we can resolve our worries. Longao knew what Shen Tong was worried about. If that was really the case, then the only way was to have all the starry sky rulers, especially the oracle, swear a blood oath. That way, both he and Shen Tong would be able to sit back and relax. Since things had already come to this, Shen Tong didn't know what to do. Agree. Or not? If he agreed, he was a little unwilling. If he didn't agree, then it would be as Longao said. There was no point in the two of them keeping this secret. It was better to gather all the starry sky rulers and see if anyone could break the seal. If there really were chaos tablets inside, then they could divide them equally. Even if they couldn't monopolize the chaos tablets, they could at least get 1/12. No, 1/13. Right now, Shen Tong had already raised Longao's position to the same as the other starry sky rulers, or even higher. This was because he knew Longao's talent and potential very well. If Longao could devour the chaos tablets, then there was no doubt that Longao would become even stronger in the future. Longao didn't urge him because he knew Shen Tong's dilemma. No matter what, it was Shen Tong who had discovered this mysterious spring. He didn't have the right to decide. However, Longao had already decided that no matter what Shen Tong decided to do, he would support him unconditionally. For a moment, the surroundings fell silent. Shen Tong didn't say anything. Longao didn't say anything either. Time passed little by little. After an indeterminate amount of time, Shen Tong suddenly raised his head and looked at Longao. He nodded heavily and said, "Longao, you're right. There's no need for us to keep this secret." "I agree." Chapter 2356. The Martial Heaven Continent. In the Outer Sea, within the Crystal Palace. Master God Diviner was truly surprised by Longao and Shen Tong's sudden arrival. Even the marvelous mathematician did not expect that Longao and Shen Tong would walk together and come to his own plane together. However, if he hadn't agreed, neither Longao nor Shen Tong would have been able to take half a step into the Martial Heaven Continent. "What business do the two of you have with me?" Master God Diviner smiled. However, the two of them were extremely wary of Master God Diviner. No matter what, in the entire starry sky, he was the only one who had regained his position as the ruler of the starry sky. "Longao, why don't you tell me?" Master God Diviner nodded. Longao didn't stand on ceremony. "Senior Master God Diviner, before that, I hope you can swear a blood oath." "I don't understand what you mean." Instead of getting angry, he smiled. Master God Diviner didn't know what Longao meant, but he knew Longao's character. If it wasn't something important, Master God Diviner wouldn't act so rashly. "Senior Master God Diviner, this is extremely important. As long as you swear a blood oath that you won't divulge this matter to anyone else, and that you won't do anything to me or Shen Tong, I'll tell you." "All right." Master God Diviner was a straightforward person. He immediately swore a blood oath. Blood oaths had restrictions on everyone. Even the ruler of the starry sky was no exception. "All right, I've already swore a blood oath. Now I want to know what it is that you want me to swear a blood oath." Master God Diviner was very curious. In fact, he was extremely curious. What was it that Longao had come to talk about that was so strange and mysterious? Since things had already come to this, Longao did not hide anything. He recounted everything that had happened previously in full detail. Master God Diviner's expression grew darker and darker. He hadn't expected Shen Tong to be hiding something from him. If he had known earlier, he wouldn't have had to wait so many years. However, he had already sworn a blood oath. No matter how angry he was, he couldn't do anything to Shen Tong. Master God Diviner now knew why Longao had made him swear a blood oath. "Shen Tong, I won't blame you for this." Was that really the case? Shen Tong was no fool. He knew that if it weren't for the blood oath, Master God Diviner would have long since killed him. Even if he hadn't succeeded, he would have been sent back into the cycle of reincarnation. Tell the clairvoyant master, is it right or wrong? However, since things had already come to this, Shen Tong did not continue to harp on it. "Master God Diviner," Yang Qi said, "the reason we've come to find you is because we want to join forces with others to explore this place." He nodded. Master God Diviner had already regained his composure. As for whether or not he was hiding a dagger behind his smile, no one knew. I believe the two of you have already guessed that the spring of primal chaos discovered by Shen Tong and the spring of primal chaos here should be the same type of place. Longao and Shen Tong both nodded in agreement. Others might not know, but Longao and Shen Tong were very clear. The reason why the god diviner hadn't left the martial heaven continent for so many years was because of this primal chaos spring. According to the god diviner's calculations, the primal chaos spring he was guarding was very likely to allow them to truly grasp the power of the primal chaos tablets. That way, they might be able to enter a brand new world. This was also why the rulers of the starry sky had been willing to sacrifice themselves to enter the samsara path. They had wanted to enter this primal chaos spring and find the secret of controlling the primal chaos tablets. 2 primal chaos springs. The god diviner didn't hesitate. He immediately gathered all the rulers of the starry sky, including Long Qiong and Xiling. It didn't matter if they were Longao's people or not, they were still rulers of the starry sky. As long as they devoured the primal chaos tablets, any ruler of the starry sky would be able to participate. In less than a day, all 12 rulers of the starry sky had gathered, including Longao. When the god diviner told them this secret, none of them, including Xiling, were as excited as they had imagined. Instead, their expressions were grave. They had all guessed that the primal chaos spring Shen Tong was talking about was exactly the same as the one the god diviner was looking for. If that was the case, so what if they found the primal chaos spring? Was he going to repeat the same mistake? The memories of the past were still fresh in everyone's minds. It was also because of their greed that those who were lucky could enter the cycle of reincarnation and be reborn. Although it would take a little longer, those who were unlucky would fall forever. The elemental astral ruler and the dark astral ruler were the best examples. At this moment, Luo Mu stood up and said, "Master God Diviner, we have no interest in this matter. We only have one mission right now, and that is to refine the primal chaos tablet as quickly as possible. Anything else is just nonsense to us. Goodbye." It wasn't just Luo Mu. Everyone else stood up and said their goodbyes. Only Longao, Shen Tong, Long Qiong, and Xiling remained. Long Qiong and Xiling were undoubtedly Longao's men. If Longao didn't leave, the two of them definitely wouldn't leave. However, Longao sent them a spiritual message. Xiling and Long Qiong had no choice. Whether it was Xiling or Long Qiong, they quickly left. Longao, as you can see, although the primal chaos spring can help me find the power to control the primal chaos tablet, I'm confident that there are other primal chaos tablets within it. As long as we can enter them, the divine mathematician didn't continue to speak until here. However, the meaning of his words was already very clear. Longao and Shen Tong weren't fools. Both of them naturally understood the meaning of the divine mathematician. No one could resist such a temptation. Even those who had just left wouldn't easily choose to leave if they had the chance. Otherwise, they wouldn't have chosen to die and enter the cycle of reincarnation for the sake of the primal chaos spring. However, the biggest problem now was that whether it was the primal chaos spring of the martial heaven continent or the primal chaos spring that Shen Tong had found, they couldn't enter it. Even the 12 rulers of the starry sky hadn't been able to do it. It was precisely because of this that all the rulers of the starry sky had chosen to leave. Back then, they hadn't had the chance to enter the primal chaos spring. Now that they hadn't refined the primal chaos tablet and become a ruler of the starry sky, there was even less of a chance to enter it. Rather than wasting time, it was better to refine the primal chaos tablet and become a ruler of the starry sky. The three of them were very clear on this point. This was also why they were helpless. Chapter 2357. Shen Tong, you've seen the current situation. All I need to do is guard my spring of primal chaos. As for the spring of primal chaos you discovered, I have no interest in it. What did that mean? Shen Tong was no fool. Of course, he knew what Master Godly Mathematician meant. Everyone returned to their own homes. Since things had already come to this, Shen Tong did not stay. After saying goodbye, Shen Tong stood up and left. Senior Master Godly Mathematician, I'll also take my leave. Longao, I know what you mean. I hope you'll help me well. I won't treat you unfairly. I understand. Master Godly Mathematician's expression turned cold as he watched Yi Futian's figure disappear. You dare to negotiate with me? I'll let you know the price later. Yi Gudu, who had returned, asked curiously, Father, why didn't we kill Shen Tong? Longao was a variable. Could Shen Tong be a variable as well? That was why Yi Gudu was very curious. He did not know what was going on with his father. Yi Gudu was well aware of his father's strength. Even at his peak, Shen Tong might not have been his father's match, let alone the current Shen Tong. What did that mean? He could not figure it out. Master Godly Mathematician shook his head and said, I'm almost certain that the place Shen Tong spoke of and the spring of primal chaos I'm guarding are the same place. Therefore, whether I kill Shen Tong or not doesn't matter. Yi Dugu knew that from the beginning to the end, his father had never put Shen Tong in his eyes. However, Yi Gudu still did not know what his father meant. Dudu, do you still not understand? Whether it's the spring of primal chaos I'm guarding or the spring of primal chaos Shen Tong found, they must have come from the same place. In that case, it doesn't matter whether we find this place or not. Back then, the 12 of us joined forces and still could not break the seal. Master Godly Mathematician did not take Shen Tong seriously at all. Even if all the other rulers of the stars joined forces, they would not be able to break the seal of the spring of primal chaos. Master Godly Mathematician was very confident in this. However, Yi Gudu's expression was very serious. Father, I'm not worried about Shen Tong. Not to mention the Godly Mathematician, even Yi Gudu did not place Shen Tong in his eyes. Dugu, what do you mean? Father, you've already deduced that Longao is a variable. So, Father, have you ever thought that if this is really the case, with Longao's help, I wonder if Shen Tong will open the seal? Hearing Yi Gudu's words, the divine mathematician stopped talking. His expression was very solemn. He knew very well what his son meant by his words. If it had been anyone else, Master God Diviner wouldn't have cared. Except for Longao. He had already faintly deduced that Longao was a variable that could very well affect his development. Father, what should we do now? You're right. I know what to do now. Seeing that his father was unwilling to say more, Yi Dugu did not continue to ask. After Shen Tong and Longao left the martial heaven continent, Shen Tong sighed in relief. It felt like he had just walked through the gates of hell. This time, he had been blind. He had thought that all the rulers of the stars of primal chaos, including Master God Diviner, would help him break the seal. He had never imagined that no one would be interested. Longao, we made a mistake this time, said Yi Gudu. Longao nodded. He also hadn't thought that things would reach this point. If he had known, he wouldn't have come. A mistake. A miscalculation. He felt very helpless, but it had already happened. It was too late to say anything now. Longao thought about it and said, Shen Tong, this matter is a bit troublesome. What is it? If it were anyone else, I'm sure you wouldn't be in any trouble. But I'm the only one working with you. Master God Diviner definitely won't let you off so easily. You should be careful. Otherwise, you should follow me. Otherwise, speaking up to here, Longao did not continue speaking, but the meaning in his words was already very clear. The more Longao acted like this, the more curious Shen Tong became. He didn't know what was going on. Why would Master God Diviner target him if he joined hands with Longao? Was there some sort of enmity between the Longao and Master God Diviner? Longao, what are you trying to say? Shen Tong, to tell you the truth, Master God Diviner has calculated that I'm a variable. Although I don't know if it's true, Master God Diviner is afraid that I can help you break the seal. So that's what it was. Shen Tong understood what Longao was trying to say. If that was the case, then this matter would truly be troublesome. Shen Tong's expression became extremely grave. It would be a lie to say that he wasn't afraid of Master God Diviner. If he was in his peak state, he might be able to fight against Master God Diviner. But now, he could only passively take a beating. Seeing that Shen Tong didn't speak, Longao naturally knew what Shen Tong was worried about. Shen Tong, as long as we don't touch the primal chaos source and you follow me, I believe Master God Diviner won't attack you. I'm very confident about this. Since things had already come to this, even if Shen Tong didn't want to agree, he could only nod in tacit agreement. He knew very well that if this matter was really as Longao said, then it would indeed be troublesome. It hadn't been easy for him to start refining the primal chaos tablet in peace. If Master God Diviner tried to stop him, then not only would he not be able to refine the primal chaos tablet, but he would also be sent back into the reincarnation path. This was the last thing Shen Tong wanted to see. Because of this, Shen Tong finally decided to follow Longao in the future. At the very least, he would have to wait until he refined the primal chaos tablet and became a starry sky ruler. Longao took Shen Tong back to the soaring dragon realm. However, he didn't mention a word about the primal chaos palace and the 12 primal chaos tablets. After what happened last time, Longao more or less felt a little estranged in his heart. Now that he treated Shen Tong as a friend, he was already very magnanimous. If it were anyone else, it would be strange if he didn't hit them while they were down. Longao didn't even arrange a place for Shen Tong to live in the headquarters. Instead, he arranged a very beautiful place in the soaring dragon realm. As for what this meant, Longao didn't say, so no one knew. Shen Tong definitely felt very uncomfortable in his heart. However, he knew very well that the current situation was very unfavorable for him. If he rashly left, it would be very disadvantageous for him. Shen Tong had already guessed that Longao must have some estrangement from what happened last time. This was because when he came last time, nothing like this had happened. Shen Tong didn't blame Longao in the slightest because he knew that he was to blame for this. He wasn't a good friend. Even Longao despised him. Chapter 2358. Longao, aren't you afraid of provoking the God Diviner's displeasure? As soon as Longao returned, Xiling asked worriedly. Xiling was extremely clear on what this meant. The Primal Chaos Tablet and the Primal Chaos Spring were forbidden to the God Diviner. Anyone who dared to touch them could imagine the consequences. Xiling couldn't understand why Longao would do such a thing. Could it be that Longao no longer feared the God Diviner? How could Longao not know what Xiling was thinking? Xiling, I was too rash this time. I've already guessed what the God Diviner is thinking. What do you mean? Longao thought for a moment. The God Diviner definitely thinks that the two primal chaos springs are the same. All he needs to do is guard the martial heaven continent. As for the other primal chaos spring, the God Diviner isn't worried in the slightest. So that was the case. Even so, Xiling was still worried. No one knew what the God Diviner would do. If the God Diviner decided to act against Longao and the Soaring Dragon Empire because of this, the gains wouldn't make up for the losses. However, Xiling, I know what you're worried about. However, I can guarantee that the God Diviner won't act against me. Ah! Xiling was shocked by Longao's words. She couldn't understand why Longao was so confident. He had nothing to fear. Xiling didn't have the slightest doubt. She was extremely clear on Longao's character. If he wasn't absolutely certain, he wouldn't say such a thing. Although Xiling was curious, she didn't ask. She knew that if Longao wanted to say something, she wouldn't even need to ask. Longao would tell her. If Longao didn't want to say anything, then asking would be pointless. Longao, what are you planning to do next? That was the key. Longao thought for a moment and said, I'm going to think of a way to see if I can break the seal and enter the spring of primal chaos. My intuition tells me that the spring of primal chaos definitely has something we want. Xiling was shocked again. What was wrong with Longao this time? Why was he so reckless time and time again? This was not like Longao's character. He was too reckless. Xiling knew what this meant. This was because no one knew what Master God Diviner was thinking. If they kept pushing Master God Diviner's bottom line, who knew if Master God Diviner would take action? Longao, you're too reckless. Longao knew what Xiling was worried about. Master God Diviner was simply too powerful, and could be considered the number one figure in the starry sky. Provoking him was like provoking the god of death. Still, Longao said firmly, I have made up my mind. Xiling, you should refine the Chaos Tablet and become a ruler of space. Xiling shrugged helplessly. Since Longao had already said so, there was no point for her to continue. At the peak of the mountain, Longao gazed into the endless void in the distance. The one who had come was none other than the number one figure in the starry sky, Master God Diviner, also known as the ruler of the starry sky. It seems you already knew I would come, Master God Diviner said with a smile. Longao nodded and said, I believe you know better than I do what the spring of primal chaos means. Master God Diviner, since things have come to this point, there is no need for us to continue beating around the bush. I would like to know why you are doing this. Before God Diviner could speak, Longao continued to say, I don't believe that I am the so-called variable. I don't believe that I can help you enter the source of chaos. Senior God Diviner, please tell me what the real reason is. Master God Diviner had always said that, but Longao had never believed him. As for whether or not the others believed him, he didn't know. Longao hadn't planned on telling Master God Diviner the truth. After all, the situation wasn't in his favor. But now that the spring of primal chaos had appeared, Longao decided to tell him the truth. He was confident that Master God Diviner wouldn't casually attack him. Otherwise, Master God Diviner would have had plenty of opportunities to kill him. The fact that Master God Diviner hadn't made a move until now spoke volumes. Master God Diviner didn't seem surprised. He seemed to have guessed the answer. Longao, do you really want to know? He nodded. Longao was curious, and he didn't know why Master God Diviner hadn't attacked him. He knew one thing for sure, and that was that Master God Diviner hadn't done anything to him because he was the variable. No one would believe that. Longao, do you know about the Chaos Tablet? Please tell me. Longao was very curious. He didn't know what Master God Diviner meant by this. Of course he knew about the Chaos Tablet. It was also a 12-sided Chaos Tablet. No, it was a 24-sided Chaos Tablet. Other than his non-elemental Chaos Tablet, it was the only high-grade Chaos Tablet he had. Could it be that his own matters were related to the Chaos Tablet? Among the 12 Chaos Stone Tablets, only my Divine Divination Stone Tablet is a high-grade Chaos Stone Tablet. After so many years, I have discovered a problem. Unless I can truly control the power within the Chaos Stone Tablet, the grade of the Chaos Stone Tablet is meaningless to me, or to anyone else. Longao didn't say anything. He just listened quietly. He still didn't know what Master God Diviner meant by this. Back on the Martial Heaven continent, when you obtained the 5-element Chaos Tablet, I began to pay attention to you. I've been trying to divine your fate for so many years, but I haven't been able to figure it out. However, I can be sure of one thing. You are a variable. Your fate has already been decided, and even I can't change it. Fate. Longao still didn't quite believe in fate. However, he didn't say anything. He knew that Master God Diviner wasn't finished. Liu Shui, I've been observing you for so many years, and I've discovered a problem. No matter what kind of danger you face, you can always turn it into safety. I'm almost certain that your life is very tough. Let alone others, even rulers of the starry sky like us might not be able to kill you. Senior Master God Diviner, why don't we get straight to the point? Longao didn't want to hear this. If that was the case, why would he even bother asking Master God Diviner? Wouldn't he just be bored? Master God Diviner understood what Longao was thinking. Thinking about it, he said, Longao, since you want to know, come with me. Master God Diviner vanished, but Longao didn't hesitate at all. No matter what, he had to get to the bottom of this and see what Master God Diviner was trying to say. Longao's figure also disappeared in an instant. The two of them were extremely fast. In a short while, the two of them had already arrived at the Sky Martial continent and entered the Scarlet Fire town, which was the place where Longao was born. Chapter 2359. What did Master God Diviner mean? Longao didn't know why Master God Diviner had brought him to Scarlet Fire Town. Longao had too many feelings for Scarlet Fire Town. It was where he'd been born, where he'd encountered the Dragon Seal, the Primal Chaos Seal. Longao, do you know where Scarlet Fire Town used to be? I don't. Longao truly didn't know the history of Scarlet Fire Town. Even the older generation didn't know the history of Scarlet Fire Town, to say nothing of himself. This was something everyone in Scarlet Fire Town was very curious about. A town with no history was a bit strange. When I first obtained the Primal Chaos Tablet, it only took me a few decades to refine it and become the ruler of Starry Sky. 10 years. Longao was stunned to hear that Master God Diviner had only used 10 years to refine the tablet. He knew very well what it meant to refine a Primal Chaos Tablet in 10 years. Other rulers of Starry Sky could refine it in 10,000 years, let alone 10. Longao didn't say anything. He continued to listen quietly. When I became the ruler of Starry Sky, do you know where I refined the tablet? Scarlet Fire Town? The words had already been said to this extent. If Longao still did not understand, then it would be too ridiculous. That's right. I refined the tablet here and became the ruler of Starry Sky. So that's how it was. He'd be lying if he said he wasn't surprised. Longao never would have guessed that Scarlet Fire Town's origins would be so great. But even so, it had nothing to do with him. However, Longao didn't say anything, because he didn't know what to say at this time. When I became the ruler of Starry Sky, I discovered the source of primal chaos and left Scarlet Fire Town. After many years of investigation, I finally tried to enter a bit. Although I didn't make any substantial progress, I trapped a spirit beast on the outskirts. Spirit beast. Longao knew exactly what a spirit beast meant. Spirit beasts and divine beasts were two completely different concepts. How could a spirit beast appear in the source of primal chaos? Longao was almost certain that the spirit beast that Master God Diviner had trapped was no ordinary spirit beast. Senior, what is the origin of this spirit beast? I believe you already know that the greatest strength in our vast universe comes from the Chaos Stone Tablets and the origin of chaos. For now, we call this strength the Chaos Force. Primal Chaos Energy. It seemed like both his Primal Chaos Axe and the Primal Chaos Palace were such super existences. There was nothing wrong with this. Longao also admitted that the strongest strength in the vast starry skies was the power of chaos within the Chaos Tablets. As for the source of chaos, he had only been there once and didn't know anything about it. As for all of us who have devoured the Primal Chaos Stone Tablets, we are unable to truly control the primal chaos energy within the Primal Chaos Stone Tablets. Thus, we are unable to differentiate the grades of the Primal Chaos Stone Tablets. The godly mathematician and Longao talked as they walked. Unknowingly, they had already entered the Red Fire Town's Long family's courtyard. The two found a place to sit down. The spiritual beast that I obtained back then was a great rock. Its name was Chaotic Great Rock. Primordial Rock. The word chaos sounded especially dignified. Longao was also very surprised. For a spiritual beast to be able to step into the origin of chaos, it was clear that this chaos spiritual beast was a terrifying existence. However, Longao had another guess, and that was the primordial rock itself came from the origin of chaos. If that was the case, it would be an inconceivable matter. As if he could guess Longao's thoughts, the godly mathematician said, "Just as you guessed, according to my guess, if there are no accidents, this primordial rock itself came from the origin of chaos." As expected. Although he had guessed it, Longao was still very shocked. Longao knew very well what it meant that the primordial rock came from the origin of chaos. Longao still didn't know what the godly mathematician meant by telling him this. Under normal circumstances, this was the biggest secret to the godly mathematician. Since that was the case, the godly mathematician's words were a little strange and mysterious. "Senior, what do you mean?" "What I mean is very simple. I have taken the primordial rock away from the origin of chaos, and it is in the Red Fire Town." Hearing this, Longao stood up directly, his face full of shock. "Senior, What do you mean? Yes, although I have sealed it here, as time slowly passed, I found that I was increasingly unable to strengthen the seal. Just a few years ago, I found that the seal suddenly stabilized a little. Longao was not a fool. He instantly understood what the godly mathematician meant. Could it be him? It was simply nonsense. Whether the godly mathematician believed it or not, he would never believe it. Senior, do you suspect that it was me who stabilized the seal? I've thought about it for a long time. Other than you, there is no other possibility. Although the godly mathematician didn't want to believe his own conjecture, there was no other possibility. As of this moment, Longao finally understood why the godly mathematician hadn't killed him, despite knowing that he would be a big problem in the future. It was because of the seal. Of course, Longao was certain that the godly mathematician's decision to not do anything to him had something to do with fate. Because of that, the godly mathematician feared him, and thus didn't make a move. Longao didn't try to explain himself. After all, the more he tried to explain, the more troublesome it would be. Furthermore, he had his own thoughts, and that was that the more the godly mathematician acted like this, the less likely it was that the godly mathematician would do anything to him. In any case, although he had the primordial chaos steles, and there were 14 other people in the Empire who had them, none of them had been able to refine them and become the sovereign lord of the starry sky. Under such circumstances, fighting the godly mathematician would be suicidal. The longer he delayed, the more advantageous it would be for him. Senior, why did you bring me here this time? Longao was very curious. If the godly mathematician had stabilized the seal, why bring him here? After all, it was important to keep it a secret. Otherwise, no one in the starry sky would have known that the godly mathematician had sealed the primordial rock. In that case, what was the godly mathematician's intention? Why had he brought him to Scarlet Flame Town? Did he want him to continue strengthening the seal? Although Longao was confident in his own strength, he also knew that the primordial rock's origin was too terrifying. If even the godly mathematician couldn't stabilize the seal, then there was no way he could. Had the godly mathematician lost his mind? You're tuning in to the Celestial War YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.